It's not your fault that I'm not enough. I don't blame you that the feeling's gone, but I don't know what I'm gonna do without your love. 'Cause everything I've been dreaming of is crumbling in my fucking arms. And I'm panicking to get it back. She cut me off, no strings attached. Gandalf, she said I shall not pass. I hide my feelings with a mask. Should've known that nothing's ever really built to last. At least not for me. Can somebody show me just what is wrong with me? But maybe that's just all in my head. 'Cause I thought that I'd be yours for forever. Now you understand why I can't close my eyes. Your best friend said you left for the better. Super glad you're great, but hurts on the inside. It's all in my mind, it's all in my head. The more that I talk, the more you're away. And I thank God I know you're gonna be okay. I drown in Patron, got lost in the rain. And you're so cold, left the homie stranded in the North Pole. I make plans, you know, show, but I always come back like yo-yo. Said the kids these days, they just tryna fuck. Henny in my hand, trip laying in the mud. There goes Hack, always falling in love. It's the same damn song that goes on and on and on. I thought that I'd be yours for forever. Now you understand why I can't close my eyes. Your best friend said you left for the better. Super glad you're great, but hurts on the inside. I thought that I'd be yours for forever. Now you understand why I can't close my eyes. Your best friend said you left for the better. Super glad you're great, but hurts on the inside. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? How is everyone doing out there? What's today? It's Friday. It is March 14th. For those that are watching at home, I went back to my big clunky headphones. The little earbud ones I had look better, but these just sound so much clearer. I can hear myself so much better in these. So I'm going to stick with the clunky guys. And with my hair, you don't see it as much now. So maybe this will be better. But hello, everybody. As you could see, there is no David today. He went to go get punched in the face a little bit with boxing, so he's a little tired. So he's going to go get his sleepy poos in. But that's okay. We are going to truck along. If we're being honest tonight, I have no idea how long we're going to go for. This one looks like it could be a long one. I have way too many topics to talk about. So here we are. We're going to have a good time. Now, I want to check something because apparently Kick now is taking... Yes, they're doing the titles. They switched them. Cool. So I don't have to update the Kick title while I'm in the middle of a show. That's really nice. Now, if only Rumble can bring my, my cover, my art for the show over there, that would be great, Rumble. Would really appreciate that, Rumble. If you can, I make the art. It goes on YouTube and everywhere else, just not you guys. Then I have to go fix it later. But I digress there. How's everybody doing? I hope we're doing well. It is Friday. We are going into the weekend. It is starting to get warmer up here where I am in New York, so I am thoroughly enjoying that. And I hope that it's slowly warming up wherever you are as we are getting into spring. I'm not ready to be fooled just yet because New York, we're always good for a snowstorm. Last year we had one like the first week of April and it got like 6 inches on us. So I'm always ready for the casual snowstorm jumping in, but here we are. I'm going to enjoy it. But I want to jump into the fun stuff. So before we get going, I want to direct everyone to go back and listen to my last episode I just had Spencer Clavin on. It was lots of fun. We had a ton of things to talk about. And then we really, really got down the road of like the great man theory and linking it back to biblical stuff. It was a really good show. If you're, you might recognize the last name Clavin. That's Andrew Clavin. And we're going to talk about him today because he stirred up a bit of controversy, but Spencer is every bit the awesome thinker that his dad is. So was really pumped. That was a fun show. Go back and watch that, listen to that, do all that fun stuff. I didn't think I would have to continue on my little pre-ramble before we get started on the stuff, that I would have to talk any more about the Epstein client list. But here we are. It is now, what is this? He started on January 20th. So we're about 7 days away from it being 2 months. And Cash Patel was confirmed, what, like 2, 3 weeks ago? We were promised day one and we got bullshit. And since we got those little bullshit binders, it's been radio silence with the Epstein client list. I've seen a whole bunch of theories going around that, they're keeping it quiet because they want to do an arrest with it, blah, 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 blah. I'm losing faith, y'all. I'm losing faith. I don't trust politicians as it is. I don't trust career Washington people as it is and things like that. And if we're being honest, Pam Bondi, career politician. She was an attorney general in Florida and things like that, and a prosecutor. She's been in politics. Cash Patel's been around Washington for a long time, so he might as well be a political guy. Now, Dan Bongino is going to get in there soon as deputy FBI director. We'll see if Dan Bongino could change things up. He was obviously NYPD cop, Secret Service. Maybe he's going to come in there, kick the door in, and be like, "What are we doing, guys? We promised this. Let's do it." And if they are, listen, I would love to eat my words. I would love for them to come out and be like, surprise, here's all the names we have, and we are announcing charges on blah, 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 but down the list, right? The names we are giving you are the names we are charging. And we will, like, honestly, if they came out and was like, hey, here's 5 names, we're charging all 5 of them. We will continue to trickle out names as we have charges prepared. I'm cool with that. I would even like that type of transparency now, where they say, what we have seen in this list, what we have seen in the videos, we need to make sure that we can arrest these people. We don't just want to put names out there. We don't want to give them the chance to go into hiding, blah, 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 because they know who they are that are on the list, right? The people that were, taking advantage and raping these girls constantly on the island, they know who they are. So maybe they do want to do it that way. Maybe they do want to wait and when they can arrest people, but say it. Say, hey, we're getting charges together. If we put the list out, that's going to screw things up. But don't sit here and transparency, and no, that's not what you're doing. So Epstein client list, I'm not done talking about it. The other thing I'm not done talking about that I have a radio silence on is FEMA and being transparent, figuring out why they passed up Trump supporters in North Carolina. I'm not letting that one go. Now, I'll let it go if FEMA gets dismantled, but I still want people to, at least at minimum be subpoenaed and ask questions as to why this bias was there. And I don't know, if people in North Carolina died because FEMA didn't provide the correct care that they could have provided to Trump supporters, then some people need to be arrested. Pam Bondi, let's go. Got a lot on your plate. I know, but you took the job. So let's start doing the job. I want to hear something about that at some point. With that being said, North Carolina, Lahaina, East Palestine, the Palisades over in LA and all them, keep them all in mind. Still send things if you can. Things aren't done. Nothing is done in these 4 areas. Continue to think about our American brothers and sisters and continue to send things if you can. Pick your favorite charity. If you can send it, send it. That's all I'm asking. There's always dire need. North Carolina, we're going to be talking about, hey, 10 years from now, this place still isn't fixed up. Like, we are going to be saying that. And LA, I think we're going to be doing it in both. So let's make sure that we continue to keep them in mind. And let's keep our pedal to the metal here. Trump has been doing a lot of good things. He's playing a lot of hardball around the world. It seems like some of his economic stuff is starting slowly to come to fruition. We're seeing the trade war happening. The stock market's not responding properly, even though leftists have told us for years that the stock market does not reflect the economy. And now apparently they're talking about the stock market and all the drops because apparently it reflects the economy only when it's not their guy. So I don't know. But only when it's not good, right? When Trump was talking about the stock market being great in his first term, what was the first thing leftists and their Democrats and pundits jumped on? Well, the stock market isn't a direct reflection of the economy and how it's doing. Now that the stock market's been taking hits, now they're all like, look, the stock market's taking a dip. His economic plan isn't working. So, like usual, they talk out both sides of their mouth. They're full of shit. But We'll see what goes on there. He's piling up victories, but we can't let up on the ground. We need to continue to do work. And like I said on the other show, I am running for office locally in my, for a town board seat here. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and hopefully I can go win. I want to try and do, some good things for my town, build a community again, hopefully, see what I can do there. I don't know all the ins and outs I can do. I've never been on board yet, but I'm hoping that I can jump in and I can listen to the people in my ward and I could try and do what's best for them and hopefully get elected. So I'm trying to put my money where my mouth is here. I'm hoping that anybody watching, listening can be inspired by me doing it. And as small as go run for your local school board, you go run for your council or board, something like that, or really help somebody that you believe in. That's a big thing too. If you know somebody that is like, maybe I'll run, and you believe that they could do a good job, actually putting in the time to help them, not just encouraging them, but being by their side, campaigning for them, trying to fundraise, get money, things like that. Those go a long way because dedicated people helping is hard to find as well. So if that's what you could do, go do it. All right, what else do I want to do? No more preamble. Let's get into the fun stuff. So we're going to start off, we're going to do a little backwards. I know my headline was all politics. It's going to take a minute for me to get those. I want to start off with something interesting I found in sports, and then we're going to go into nerdy stuff, and then we're going to jump politics. But the nerdy stuff kind of goes in with politics because it's some woke bullshit. So let's roll in. So first things first, we are going to start off with sports. So coming in here with this X post, I have no idea who this is, but I found it. Legend of winning. LeBron James had, apparently this was on the 7th. That is a week ago now, approached Stephen A. Smith to basically tell him to stop talking shit. Now I'm going to mute this. We're going to play it. To basically, he says something like, leave my son out of the shit, bro. Confronts him on the court, at the game. From that angle, it doesn't look like Stephen A. is saying anything, but it looks, his body language is saying that, it looks like his jaw's moving. People are trying to clown Stephen A. saying he got punked. And listen, LeBron James is 6'9", okay? If LeBron James steps up to you, into your face, and starts talking shit, I don't care if you're the biggest hater in the world. The dude's a machine and a monster. You could draw back a little, but you ain't doing nothing to LeBron. I'm sorry. A guy like Stephen A. is a normal-sized dude. He ain't doing shit to LeBron. Now, what I want to bring up is the reason why LeBron is so mad. Now, we're not going to listen to this whole clip here, but I do want to play some of it. And of course, because this is what X likes to do with their videos, we're going to share this one instead. Let's see if I can find the exact spot.
Really trying.
This is a little low.
To be as respectful as I possibly can be.
Now, let me preface this real quick. In this clip that you're going to see, Stephen A. Smith, and this is now a little bit ago, he basically calls out LeBron for putting Bronny James in a bad spot. So this is the whole entire background of why LeBron confronts him. So let's go into this. Let's see if I can put this up a little bit.
One of the top 2 or 3 players in the house.
Let's see.
A treasure to the game that we should and will all miss. I am pleading,
this is where it gets into it right here,
with LeBron James as a father. Stop this. Stop this. We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad. The first game of the season, opening night, the Griffies in attendance, father-son duo playing in an NBA game for the first time, an absolutely positively wonderful story. And then reality sets in. We love what we're seeing from him in the G League.
So quickly, right there, there's nothing that he said that isn't wrong. Bronny James is not in the NBA because he's better than people in college right now. He's in the NBA because his dad wanted him there. Now, granted, to be fair to Bronny James, I think we've talked about this before, the kid almost died his freshman year. Okay? He almost died his freshman year at USC. He had a heart attack, something with his heart. I forget what it was, but he got really fucked up and could have died. So in that moment, I kind of understand where both him and LeBron are like, hey, let's get you into the league, right? Let's do it. Use my last name, right? The nepotism was always going to be there. Whenever Bronny James is going to enter in the league, whether he's going to go to the Lakers or not, he was going to get a chance in the league because his last name was James. He was LeBron's son. So there's that. So we all know he's in the league. And, let's let Stephen A go a little bit more.
Because that's where you belong.
He's in the G League. Yep.
As you hone your skills and you get better and you legitimately earn, which I believe he has the potential to do. I am rooting for Bronny James. It would be cruel to root against him. He's a wonderful kid. I wish him nothing but the best. But he's LeBron James' son. And everybody knows what attention that brings. Molly, Doggy, put them up on the screen because I want to see their face when I say this. Right now, Bronny James is averaging 0.3 points, 0.3 assists, and 0.4 rebounds. You know what people are saying. You know what they're going to do to this kid.
So with this going on, I completely agree with Stephen A on this. And this is kind of what caused LeBron to go off on him. And I'm going to come back here. This is what got LeBron pissed at him. Leave my son out of this shit. What do you mean leave my son out of this shit? You brought your son into it. You brought your son into this situation. Not by just getting him into the league. You had him drafted to your team. And I'm sorry, Bronny James is a grown-ass man. He's in the NBA. He's a grown man, right? He's balling with men. He's a grown man. Stephen A doesn't have to leave your son out of this, dude. He's just a basketball player at this point. Now, would anybody give a shit about this player if he wasn't your son with the way he's been playing? No one would care. No one would care about what he does in the G League. Most of us don't care about what goes on in the G League. But I'm sorry, LeBron. This is what's going to happen when you decide to bring your son into the league way too soon before he's supposed to be there and get him NBA playing time, right? If he was just brought into the league and went straight to G League, it was like, yo, we're just going to hone his skills, right? Dude almost died. We want to get him up here, whatever. People would still be like, yeah, but at least he's in G League. They put him on an NBA bench for what? We know what it was for. It was just so the pomp and circumstance could be, oh, LeBron James played a game. He was on the court the same time as his son. What a moment. Let's keep going and see what Stephen A had to say some more here.
In 13 games, he has played 44 minutes. He has scored 4 points. He is shooting 1 of 16 from the field, 0 for 7 from three-point range. How are you doing him favors? We know that he's not ready yet. And I'm saying this with compassion. I'm asking the greatest player in the game, one of the top 2 players in the history of basketball, an ambassador for this game, the face of the league, a 4-time champion, a guy that's gone to 10 NBA finals, one of the greatest we have ever or will ever see.
Stephen A giving his pomp and circumstance as he always does.
You know, better than me, better than Doggy, better than JJ Redick, better than Rob Pelinka, better than any basketball analysis or analyst that exists. You know what these numbers mean. You know what it's going to do to your son, to people who are missing out on opportunities, that are busting their tail on other NBA teams in the G League, in Europe, and everywhere else, what kind of opportunity they're starving for. You're exposing your son like this?
So there's that. That's what pissed LeBron James off. Basically, and LeBron James seemed to take it as he was challenging him as a father. And in a way, he was. Now, this obviously didn't go well. LeBron James confronted Stephen A, as we saw. And I don't disagree with anything Stephen A said there, right? I think he was completely right in the way he approached it. And that, and this was a little while ago, that Bronny James did not belong where he was, and the only reason he was there is because LeBron, and LeBron isn't helping his son. He's bringing on the criticism by bringing him up there. The criticism is fair, that Bronny James is not an NBA player yet. And it's because LeBron James that this criticism is being launched on him. It's because his influence as the father that this is being launched on him. So, and then for LeBron to do that, to intimidate him at a Lakers home game, what was Stephen A going to do? Fight him at a home game? He's going to get his ass beat by LeBron James anyway, but he's going to fight LeBron in a home game. LeBron knew what he was doing. It's not like LeBron was like, hey, let's go hash it out on a podcast and argue. Or he stepped up while LeBron was in the middle of a basketball game to make this a show, to put on a show for people. And it was kind of weak. It was weak. So this was Stephen A. Smith's response to the whole thing. He was on Gilbert Arenas' podcast. Again, everyone, including us here, have a podcast. This is Underdog Podcast. This clip is 4 minutes long. I don't know if we're going to watch all of it, but let's watch some of it here.
What do you make of LeBron confronting you in the aftermath of that situation?
I thought it was weak. I thought it was some bullshit. But in the moment, I knew that I was listening to a father. Here's what happened. I'm represented by William Morris Endeavor. The founder of William Morris Endeavor, Ari Emanuel, had courtside seats right next to the Lakers bench. He had Larry David with him, star of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm sitting with them. I get there in the first quarter. I'm sitting courtside, and I stand up, and then I got my head turned. And then I turned back around, and a lot of people thought this was the end of the game or something like that. This was in the third quarter. Apparently, LeBron had walked out of the timeout, and I turn around, and he's right here in my face.
So right there, that is a calculated, emotional move, but a calculated move that LeBron James did. Walked out of the timeout. Third quarter, mid-game. Again, what was Stephen A. going to do, right? So let's keep going.
He said, yo, you got to stop talking shit about my son. You got to stop fucking with my son. That's my son. That's my son. And I was like, what? He said, nah, fuck that. I said, yo, let's talk later. He's like, fuck that. Nah, fuck that. You got to stop fucking with my son. And I said, all right, though. And he walked off. So
again, people are going to say, like, here, like, Stephen A. got punked. And, I mean, number one, LeBron James, that's bitch shit right there, okay? Stop fucking with my son. Your son's a grown man. He's in the NBA. You brought him there, bro. And I get it. You're a dad. You want to defend your kid. But if I'm Bronny, I'm like, Dad, shut the fuck up. What are you doing? I'm out here trying to earn my keep. I'm busting my ass in the G League, averaging 20 plus, trying to show either the Lakers or another team I'm worth another shot, right? And here you are in the third quarter on national television, confronting one of the biggest sports journalists in the world, telling him to stop talking about me? Like I'm a boy and I can't fight my own battles? If I'm Bronny James, I'm like, Dad, don't ever fucking do something like that again. Let's keep going with the story here.
I remember during a timeout in the first quarter, seeing Bronny. And Bronny looked over at me, and he had this sad look on his face. And I'm imagining...
Now, all that, I have no idea if that's true. That's just Stephen A. saying that. He might just be painting a picture. Stephen A.'s a storyteller. So let's keep going.
Pop saw that shit. It hit him. Yeah. And he couldn't hold it, and he rolled up on me. And so when I went on the air the next morning, first things first, believe it or not, I know this is shocking for people to believe, but I didn't have any intentions on talking about it until I woke up that morning and saw that the shit had gone viral. Once the shit had gone viral, the bosses at ESPN, now you got to talk about it. This is you and him. You got to talk about it.
And here's the thing with Stephen A's MO, he at least had to say something, right? Because Stephen A always tries to come off as this tough guy, right? Like, well, he kind of had to. Most other people could have just talked it off. Stephen A almost didn't have a choice with his bravado and his persona.
I said, fine. So I go on the air and I said, the first thing that I'm going to do is establish that this was a father talking to me, not a player. And that was what threw me off. And I was glad, even though I thought that he misrepresented the argument, I was glad he did. Because you see, what he was really talking about, which was confirmed with his conversation with Richard Jefferson, is that I was talking about him as a father. And so what happens is that had he said that to me, then I wouldn't have been thrown off. I'd have came right back at him. Yes, I was. I was talking about you.
Here's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if he would have done that. I'm sorry. Like I said, LeBron James is 6'9" and all sorts of a brick shithouse. I don't care how tough you think you are. I don't think you're saying that to LeBron James' face right there. Hell no. Maybe save it for later. Maybe like Stephen A said, yo, let's table this. Let's talk later. I'm calling bullshit on that. But let's keep going.
You did this shit, which I'll get to in a second. But because he didn't do that, I said, fine, you let it go. Mind you, I just agreed to my contract. Courtside. That day was when it was announced. It's all over, everywhere.
We talked about
I mean, right? Yeah. It's a nationally televised game. Mm-hmm. The cameras are rolling, and I'm like, if I do anything, this is gonna be a scene. Mm-hmm. Now, we can sit up here in front all we want to and act like we don't work for somebody. Damn it, I work for Walt Disney. And if I had gotten into some shit with him at courtside right there at that moment, no matter how right I would have been, it would have been wrong. And I was like, I'm not going to do this.
And also add the caveat, he would have shoved them into the freaking 6th row.
But once I saw the tape of him talking to Richard Jefferson Saturday night in Boston, that was when I got really pissed because that was confirmation.
What do you make of LeBron?
So that was Stephen A's side of it all. And I mean, is it that big of a deal? No. I just thought it was interesting that I don't like what LeBron did. I don't think Stephen A is always right. I didn't disagree with Stephen A because LeBron, Bronny James doesn't belong in the league. Not right now. I don't know if he'll ever truly belong in the league. He might, I've said from the get-go, he might be a nice rotational piece. At one point, he may be. He doesn't belong there now. He doesn't belong at the end of an NBA bench as a 12th man. He doesn't. Because, the 12th man could still get in the game. Bronny James doesn't belong in the game. Not right now. G League, fine. Go get better. Go dominate for a year or so, and then get a shot. Maybe away from the Lakers. It might help to be away from dad. But, I mean, that was bitch shit by LeBron. There's no other way to go about it, doing that the way he did it. Do I think Stephen A was talking tough there because LeBron wasn't in front of him? Sure. I mean, if they're both as big as they are, put them in a room, put some seats there, put someone between them, get mics in their face, have them hash it out. Ain't gonna happen. This is good Hollywood stuff, but that would be the best way to go about it. But we all know that it's not gonna happen. But I just thought that was interesting that Stephen A, LeBron spat. It's probably going to still go on for a little bit longer. I really think it's going to go on. But I mean, I'm not going to talk shit about LeBron that much. I thought it was a bitch move. I still think LeBron's an amazing player. I get the emotion of being a father. And here's the thing. Everyone, do you guys think that LeBron doesn't know he kind of fucked this up, right? Like, you don't, like, LeBron knows that he kind of fucked this up. He knows Bronny shouldn't be there, right? Like Stephen A said, nobody knows more than LeBron James about that. But he made his bet. He's got to lie in it, right? He said Bronny's better than these dudes in the NBA. He's going to be a great blah, blah, blah. Talk your shit, man. You LeVar Balled it. Difference with LeVar Ball, 2 of his sons have been really good players. If it was not for injuries, the Ball boys would be all-stars basically every year for the most part. Maybe not, Melo definitely. LeVar, borderline. LeVar's just a really good point guard. Melo, definitely, because Melo's a freaking talented. LaMelo's a talented kid. But difference is, Lamar's boys backed it up. Or LeVar's boys backed it up. Bronny hasn't yet. So we'll move on from that. And we'll start going into some of our nerd stuff. That was my lone sports. We don't talk enough sports here. So I got a little bit of sports in there. But let's go in. Let's start with the disappointing part of the show. So we talked a little while ago. I don't even remember what episode it was on. It was a little bit ago where it was rumored that there was going to be a Black Severus Snape cast. And it was 3 months ago. And it was rumored that that was going to be a casting. And lo and behold, we have Geeks and Gamers here. And it is. We are getting a casting of a Black Severus Snape. Papa Asidu closing his deal to portray Professor Severus Snape in the new HBO Harry Potter series. So this right here is already a non-starter for me. I talked about it then. I'll talk about it now. There is nothing anybody could say or do to convince me that a Black Severus Snape is the right way to go. It's not the way he is portrayed. It's never been the way he's been drawn. And it just opens up so many doors for so much bullshit. I forget who said it. I think I was listening to Friday Night Tights, something. I don't know. I forget which one it was. Or it might have been on Side Scrollers. But they said that, I think it was Side Scrollers, actually. I think it might have been Arch talking on Side Scrollers, saying that, yeah, I think it was Arch, that this is going to open up the door for like the racism to come in, where, because he's a Black Severus Snape and James Potter apparently, picked on him when they were both at Hogwarts. And this is going to definitely come into a white versus black thing. They're setting it up. Don't put it past JK. Just because she's been good on the trans shit doesn't mean she's not woke in every other way. And she is. She's lefty woke in every other way. Hence we see, because she's behind this. We know she has creative control. She has casting control of everything going on. Nate, what's going on, brother? I see you there jumping in with the fellas. I know it's a late one, Nate. I popped in a little late, but what's going on, brother? So she has control over all this. So we have a Black Severus Snape coming our way. Now, we have, I just mentioned Side Scrollers. Blabs over there on Side Scrollers has something to say about it. Her video is right down here. I encourage everyone to go watch it because she goes on, a tirade, 20 plus minute tirade about, why Black Severus Snape is not a good thing. And I encourage, like I said, everyone to go here to her YouTube and I'll click on it. I'm going to mute it because I don't want to, but no, I don't want this bullshit, but this is where it is. Go and, follow Blabs here. I will do my, I don't subscribe to things, so I will do blah, subscribe to it, thumbs up this video, and there's Blabs. So you can watch as she says there. I don't even think I was actually sharing that tab. I think I was just clicking on it and fucked with myself. I'm dumbass. Anyway, but let's go to something that Blabs did share, which was interesting to me. This picture of all the different ways Severus Snape has been portrayed around the world. And look at this. He has never once, not one time, been portrayed as a black man or anything resembling closely a black man. Now, this is wild that they decided to pull one over and that people are trying to defend this. Blabs is right that this is craziness. If you go listen to our video, this is fucking nuts. None of this makes any sense. But here we are. One of the best parts of the Harry Potter movie series was its casting. By far, it was its casting, okay? They got that part right 100%. And that made so much for the movie. Now, the acting was really good. The spots that they picked to, bring in the movie, obviously they couldn't get everything from the books. The shows should do a lot better at giving you the books, right? Because they're going to have more leeway to fit more details in. But the casting and the parts that they did pick to put in the movies were really good. And they moved the story and kept the story fluent. Messing up the casting right from the get-go is going to fuck this all up. And I said it back when we talked about this 3 months ago, and I'm going to say it again. The demographic that pushed this was middle-aged, millennial white women, or who is a fan of this. If you go and start fucking with the things that they like, middle-aged millennial white women are going to turn on this. And with that, everything's going to change. This is going to be a flop. At this point, I am coming out and saying now, and let me get myself on full screen here so I can make this. This Harry Potter HBO series, regardless of how faithful it is to the books, and regardless of how well these actors do, Papa Asidu may actually play a very good Severus Snape. He really may. And we might get something there that is, pretty good in terms of acting wise. But it's not going to be successful if the casting choices continue to be fucked up. Now, we haven't seen who's Harry, right? We haven't seen who's Ron, who's Hermione. Massively important. Who they get to play Ginny Weasley, who later becomes, by the second book, is important, but becomes very important later on. Neville Longbottom, Draco Malfoy, who's playing, Lucius Malfoy. Like, these are incredibly important characters. Who are they going to get to play Voldemort? This is all massive. And probably most people, a lot of people's fan favorite character, Severus Snape, you fucked up. Because if you've gotten far enough, get to the Half-Blood Prince, things like that, you find out so much more about Snape and quickly becomes a character that I think people eventually fell in love with. In a lot of ways, considering the backstory of Severus Snape. And you just sat there and fucked up one of the main characters. It's not boding well. And I'm thinking that if this trend continues, we might see maybe 2 seasons of this Harry Potter series. And it's going to be sad because it could have been good. But who knows? Who knows how else it's going to go, but they fucked that up. But now I want to jump to this tab because I actually found this to be rather funny. Gary of Nerdrotic with this variety picture. Let's click on this. Tell me what's wrong here, everyone. Jenna Ortega and Taylor Russell in talks for single white female remake. Now, I might be blind. Nate, I know you're hanging out here with me. Anyone else hanging out here might want to comment here. What do we see that maybe doesn't fit with what they're trying to do? I mean, they're not white, y'all. Like, nothing. These two individuals are not white in any way, shape, or form. And they're trying to make a movie about white women. I mean, it's so tired, right? And I hear people say it all the time, and it's tired. But it is true. If roles were reversed and it was single Latina female, and they got Emma Watson and who the fuck knows, Sydney Sweeney. Emma Watson and Sydney Sweeney to go and play in that. People are going to flip the fuck out. Deservedly so, right? Because neither of them are anything close to Latina. But they have to keep pulling this bullshit. And people ask, we talked to Odin of O&B Reviews. We talked to James Carrick of Worth It Awoke. And we asked both of them kind of as the pendulum shifting back. And I think James said it the best. He was like, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while for it to shift back. You might see some shit. And here's it, like right here. What do you mean? Why are you even in talks? What are you in talks about? Say no. Like, ladies, say no. We're not white. We can't do this. Like, what the fuck? Like, this isn't very difficult. This isn't very difficult. Stop it. Stop with this dumb shit. So I didn't have much to say about this. I just found it funny. It's like Hollywood's not learning. Hollywood's not going to learn, apparently. It's not something they're capable of doing. Hollywood is possibly not capable of being fixed. We're going to get some good stuff. And I think we're just still going to get a whole bunch of shit. I don't think it's all going to be shit anymore like it was for a little while, for about a 5-year stretch. You maybe had one good out of like 10. I think we maybe will get to like a 1-to-5 ratio. 1-to-4 if we're lucky. But I don't know if these people can learn. They're so stuck in their leftist bullshit ideology. And that's all there is to it. And I know, what was it, Mel Gibson, Sylvester Stallone, and Clint Eastwood, I think it was, maybe John Voight, where Trump was like, hey, I'm sending you guys to go save Hollywood. I don't know if they can. I don't know. And unless we have more conservatives speaking up and putting their names out there while they are stars of big movies, right? Unless they, we need, Mark Wahlberg has been a fairly religious dude. Like, I think he hides his conservatism, but it seems like he's a conservative, right? We need Mark Wahlberg to make another blockbuster, and while he's out there, start professing why he did it for, X, Y, and Z reasons, and not necessarily like come out and be reasonable, right? Be more outspoken while that film is being out there, and while you're about to gross $1 billion fucking dollars, come out and talk about some topics, right? And I know like it's hypocritical because I say I want them to shut the fuck up, but maybe we can get that pendulum shifting back if some of them do this. It seems like Chris Pratt. I just saw a thing. I was scrolling through social media, and Hallow is having some of these celebrities, Mark Wahlberg and Chris Pratt. I bring them up because they're talking about Bible verses. Chris Pratt is lending his voice to talking about Bible verses. Why isn't Chris Pratt being more open? I'm putting it on them. They need to start doing it. The Friends of Abe need to stop being an underground society. The Friends of Abe need to become much more mainstream and much more vocal. Because I think if they do, they will encourage more conservative people to maybe get into Hollywood and fight a little bit. Who knows? Nate G coming in saying, I can't even remember the last time I went to a movie theater. The only reason I did was because I took my kids to go see the Paw Patrol movie, which wasn't bad, actually. Pretty good for a kid's movie. And I see you, Squiggles Mick Jr. What's going on? So we'll see. I don't know if Hollywood can learn. But on that note, we're going to bring up something dope from Hollywood. As I just got done shit talking them, wondering if they can learn. We get this. Geeks and Gamers tweet over here. New trailer for Disney's Lilo and Stitch. It is 2 minutes and 25 seconds. I'm going to take the chance at Disney telling me to fuck off. But we'll see, because I watched this and I know people, I just talked about Blabs. Blabs hates the way Stitch looks. I think this trailer looks fucking awesome. So let's watch it together because I'm a fan of this. Rare. First live action Disney trailer I walked away from enjoying. So I hope everyone enjoys it.
We have apprehended a dangerous experiment. Where is he?
He escaped.
He's trying to find the police cruisers.
He took the red one.
What hideous planet is caught in your crosshairs?
Shooting star! I wish for a friend. Like a best friend.
Can I just say Lilo's adorable? The girl they picked for Lilo is fucking adorable. Let's keep going.
What the hell?
He's so cute.
I think the advantage that they're going to have with this live action that we're going to see here is, yes, they're bringing kind of like an animal to life, which Disney has struggled with, right? Stitch is different because Stitch has expressions, and because he's humanoid-esque enough, they can add the expressions to him. So you don't have that creepy fucking stone-faced animals that they've been doing for Lion King and things like that. Stitch has expressions. That's going to be a huge advantage because the animators are going to be able to do expressions with his CGI. Let's keep going here.
And Fluffy.
He is your responsibility. Got it.
We promise.
Yeah.
Get down from there.
Look like an angel.
No. Control him. Hey, what are you doing?
It also helps. I know that doesn't look exactly like Nani. Nani ain't bad looking. Throw that out there. That helps. Cute Hawaiian chick. Let's keep rolling.
No. Dogs on the table.
You sure that's a dog?
Yeah.
Rough.
Ew. We are not keeping this thing.
Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind.
Or forgotten.
And it's funny, it's obvious they took some liberties with it, but it looks like the liberties that they've taken still fit within the character. And I think that's a massive change for what they've been doing, because when they've taken liberties lately, it's been bullshit. These liberties are still within character, it seems. Let's keep going now. I'm enjoying this. I don't know about you guys.
Stitch bad.
Sometimes family isn't perfect. That doesn't mean they aren't good. That was close. I don't think you're supposed to drink that.
That scene looked a little bit like Gizmo. Looked a little bit like Gremlins and Gizmo, and really fucking fake. I'm going to throw that out there.
Agent Cobra Bubbles.
We have a blue dog to catch.
No, wait.
I do enjoy that they did that. That is a good little change. Again, instead of letting a bunch of aliens run around, they kind of cloaked them as humans. Not mad about that. I want to see how they're more used, but I think that's a decent modernized liberty to take, considering cartoons you can get away with more disbelief with having aliens fucking sneak around. That's a little different. Don't mind it. And I do like the fact that you get to see Pleakley right there real quick.
No. I'm gonna give you to the count of 3, Stitch. 1.
So I don't know. Everyone, if anyone watching, you want to give me your opinion. Mine is, I think that that's a winner. I personally, as I watch that, I think that's a winner. I think that once that gets mainstream and that commercial is or more everywhere and things like that, I think a lot of people, even people that question and don't want to do the wokeness and stuff, are going to look at that. If you have kids and your kid sees that and they've ever seen Lilo and Stitch, they're going to want to go see it. Both my daughters were like, when's that coming out? We're going. So I know I'm going to be going. And I'm actually, this is rare because I've been dragged to some shit. I was dragged to see the live action Ariel, which is fucking terrible. This I'm looking forward to going to. Unless another trailer or two comes out and then starts to ruin it, which you never know. It could. This could have been a great opening trailer. Then it comes out and there's a whole bunch of bullshit that they did. Who knows? Maybe. But that first trailer makes me want to go see it. Especially because I enjoyed Lilo and Stitch growing up, and even watching it now, I think it's one of the better, Disney movies. Just in general, it's a Disney classic. I'm looking forward to that movie. So I'm pumped that it came out. In the beginning, there were some of the stills that didn't look amazing and things like that. But in general, I think it looks great. Nate's saying, same here. Kids are excited. Yeah. Because if you look at it, that's exactly what I've wanted. And I think it's what everyone wanted, because people are like, oh, why would you want a live action if it's the same thing? Because it's a story we fell in love with, right? I don't want you to change it just because it's a live action. Obviously, fix some of the cartoon shit that you can't bring to life, right? But don't make it a different story. I fell in love with the story for a reason. If you're going to make it live, if you're going to bring it into people world, whatever, our real world, that's the way I want you to do it. Generally stick exactly to the story and try to make everyone look like who they are. Nani is a Hawaiian chick, right? That's all she needed to be. Lilo looks like a cute little Hawaiian girl. That's what she is. Stitch looks like Stitch. And then you have Cobra Bubbles. He's a black dude. Cool, right? Like, David is a Hawaiian guy. Like, I mean, he's not ripped and jacked like he was in the movie, but he's a Hawaiian dude. Like, all of these things are adding up. The girl that knocks into her seems to be like just a regular generic white little girl. And that's exactly what she was in the movie. Like, it seems like they worked hard to get the casting right here. And again, casting matters. This looks like Lilo and Stitch. And because it looks like the Lilo and Stitch that I enjoyed when I was younger, my kids have enjoyed throughout their lives, it's going to make me want to go see it more. So thumbs up to Disney Pixar for that one. That's $1 billion movie. That movie's going to make a bill clean, easy. I think that is, we talked about what could be $1 billion. I think we did it with both James and Odin. I am going here where I said Harry Potter is going to be a fail if they keep casting that way. I think Lilo and Stitch is $1 billion movie. So I'm happy for them. I think that's a good stuff. I think that, awesome. And I want to move on here because this is just, I wasn't going to talk about this tonight, but I just started watching it. So I was upstairs with my kids, getting them ready, hanging out after dinner, and haven't started getting them ready for bed yet. So it's getting on to the weekend. I let them watch a little TV. And they just got done watching a movie. There was like 30 minutes before we start teeth and things like that and all that good shit. And I was like, we could throw on a show. And the promotion that came up after the movie we watched was for Win or Lose, which is the Pixar TV series on D+. And I was like, we can give it a shot. I know that was the one where they pulled out some of the trans stuff in it. And I was like, okay, they pulled things out. Maybe it's watchable. So we watched the first episode. And the first episode was about, I don't care if I spoil it. Little girl, she's playing softball and not good. Can't hit the ball, can't catch the ball. Her dad is the coach. Seems like everyone else on the team is competent. Her good friends are really good. And she's struggling. And they make a blob type of thing that is basically her self-doubt, her anxiety, and everything about wanting to play softball and do it well. And just the pressure that she's putting on herself to make her father happy. And, without the person, like, it never gives you the idea that the dad is putting more pressure on her. Every time she fails, he's not putting her down. He's telling her, you'll get it next time. You get it next time. You get it next time. She's perceiving more and more. And in her head, going crazy about trying to be good at a sport. I thought it wasn't a bad story. There was some pretty funny antics with it. It's like a gray blob. And pretty funny antics about the way she treats the gray blob initially. Flicking it away. It's smaller. And it grows and grows and grows and gets massive. Obviously, it's fake. She's the only one that could see it and feel it. And it comes in with the touching moment at the end, where it's overwhelmed her and her father basically brings her out of it. And I thought that was a cool moment, okay? It ends pretty funny. Not a bad first episode. Now, granted, my kids are 7 and 4. So, the self-doubt thing, and they both play sports. They both play soccer. So I kind of related to them. Like, you guys are playing soccer. Daddy's your coach. That's her putting too much pressure on herself. And it kind of related. Okay. We start watching episode number 2. Now, in the first episode, you kind of see the whole team. One of the people that's pretty prominent is the umpire in the back. He's like very animated. It's kind of funny. He's like making like crazy strikeout signs and things like that. The second episode is about him. Now, you start off and he's there doing his calls. And after the game, he's getting a lot of heat from the opposing fans. And they have him shield up in like a fake guarding thing, and he's very guarded and blah, blah, blah. And okay. People can be brutal and they can be mean to officials, and at youth sports happens. He goes home, he's alone. And they kind of hint that we're going in the way of talking about his relationships early on. And then you find out he's a school teacher. As not just an ump, he's a school teacher. And he's a very vigilant school teacher, blah, blah, blah. And he's kind of, he's out there. He's a weird dude. And you get to a scene where he catches 2 of the athletes cheating on a test. And oddly chummy with one of the athletes, one of the students. And they're like middle schoolers. And, middle schoolers can be crass. I get it. But like weirdly, like it was a little bit odd, the dynamic. And then it breaks into that he was in like dating and almost marries a fellow teacher, and it falls apart. And this is where I'm like, why the fuck are we talking about the umps relationships? And why is this? It's a PG show. So it's apparently PG's for 8-year-olds. Like, I kind of 7 and 4, like, okay, it's PG supposed to be good for 8-year-olds. And it gets a little wonky. So I want to go here real quick, because our good buddies at Worth It or Woke, James Carrick, did a review about Win or Lose. And I kind of broke down a little bit. The review summary here, he gives it an overall C+. Review summary is the first 2 episodes of Win or Lose are brilliant examples of visceral storytelling power of animation. Again, the animation's actually gorgeous too. I'll give it that. Pixar outdoes themselves with the animation. It's fantastic. Anyone who has struggled in love or at swinging a bat will see themselves in every soul-crushing, anxiety-ridden second. However, despite their excellence, they are far too mature, especially in the second episode, for young audiences. So again, you see story and plot gets an 84, vision and cinematography 90. I think it makes it a little better. Performance 87, direction 90, children suitability 40%. I happen to agree with that. Parent appeal 79. Maybe I think it's a little bit less. And the woke-o-meter, woke-ish, 25% woke, 75% base. Now, he goes down some woke stuff. I'm going to say right away he missed one. And James, if you're watching, I don't know if you mentioned, I read through it quickly. In the beginning of the second episode, when he gets home, right as he walks in, there's a big picture of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It's like, fuck you people, okay? I prefer it's back to that, maybe just that quick, subtle moment of a picture. But at the same time, the umpire with is a big picture of Ruth Bader Ginsburg as a male. No dude is hanging a picture of Ruth Bader Ginsburg in his fucking house, okay? Like, lame. Absolutely lame by Pixar there. Okay, so let's see. It got a pretty, 4 people reacted here, and it got, a mixed reaction here, okay? So we'll read a little bit of what James had to say. Win or Lose centers around a middle school softball team, the Pickles, which is funny. I like that name, the Pickles. The story unfolds during the week leading up to their big championship game. Each episode offers a unique perspective, delving into the lives and the minds of different team members, coaches, and even their families. It's a tale of teamwork, growth, and the ups and downs pursuing victory on and off the field. So that's the trailer. So here's the review. Animation intended for adults is nothing new. The Flintstones was the first primetime animated series to grace U.S. television with the express intention of targeting that particular audience. However, its combination of tackling universal family dynamics with colorful characters and top-notch vocal talent all propelled the excellent writing, quickly found family members of all ages yelling yabba dabba doo. That's true. Of course, since that time, the genre has become a billion-dollar industry featuring programs running the maturity gamut from deep existential reflections on nature of destiny and perseverance, Samurai Jack, to fart and incest jokes, Family Guy. First 2 episodes of Win or Lose lean far more into the former's camp. So Family Guy. Episode 1 masterfully captures the soul-crushing anxiety of being the worst member of a sports team, while the second episode delves into the loneliness and longing for connection felt by many single people in their early 30s who are trepidatiously navigating the complex and often emotional barren lattice of today's dating continuum. Thank God I found my wife during high school. James is awesome. So right there is the first problem. The first episode, you can kind of connect in any way, right? Kids, adults can connect with seeing the anxiety of being the worst kid on the team and things like that. Like, that is a very mutual thing that we can talk about. The second episode is where I felt it got inappropriate. And even my wife, who's not like me, who's not as like politically, jumping into this stuff, it was the middle of the episode, like the beginning of the episode. Probably I looked and I was like, I'm not a fan of this. She's like, yeah, neither am I. And I told my kids, I'm like, we're turning this off. You guys have no business knowing about the love life of an adult. So let's keep going with what James had to say here. Even though children with good parents who make them go outside and play may be able to connect with the concepts being portrayed, it's doubtful many of them will find the tone and story appealing. As far as episode 2 is in no way something that children 8 to 12 need to be thinking about for a decade or more, and it's clearly not intended for them. And this is where the problem is, because it's PG. Because it's only PG. And again, 8 to 12 is supposed to be a suitable age for PG. And again, my kids are 4 and 7. I let them watch it. It's my parental discretion. But it ended up not being appropriate. And I agree. It's not appropriate for them either. I disagree a little that the first one, kind of universal. But again, we're not going to agree on everything. He says, ultimately, the content isn't compelling enough to warrant a watch by adults who should be far too busy with life and watching the second season of Severance to spare 20 minutes for Win or Lose. I agree with that. No one actually... It's not for anybody right now. Both episodes feel like somewhat overly emotional shorts that have been sporadically shown in theaters before Pixar feature film. They are well done, but not particularly profound. Usually forgotten quickly after they are over, and certainly not fun enough to bridge the viewer age gap. So where I disagree a little bit, I found myself laughing and my kids in the first episode, especially in the beginning, as the young girl was dealing with the little blob. It's a little gray blob, and she's flicking it, kicking it, trying to dismiss it in every which way. I found that to be cute and funny, and Pixar kind of at its best right there. I actually enjoyed that part. And like I said, the first episode, as long as you're there And that might be the rub. A kid can't watch that on their own and understand what's going on in episode 1. Even maybe an 8-year-old. They'll be a little too young. My daughter's 7 again. She's right there, but a little bit too young. They have questions. They question like, why is this going on? What's going on? They get very much so. So unless you're a parent sitting there watching episode 1, being able to explain what the girl is feeling, it's definitely above their heads. We're going to keep going here. So inappropriate elements from Win or Lose. Who is it for? Both are too emotionally mature and dour for little ones while lacking sufficient insightfulness to entice adults. Agreed. Lordy, Lordy. Lord's name is used in vain at least once. Oh my God, who's the driving? Okay, whatever. Again, this is her perspective. He's a Christian man and like that. So am I. I'm kind of okay with that type of stuff. I'm too sexy. In the second episode, as the antagonist swipes his way through a dating app, it lands on a curvy gal in a tiny halter top posing in such a way to accentuate her curves. And the antagonist has an avatar in the app who wears nothing except his tighty whitey. So I didn't get that far. I stopped at a point where he was talking to the janitor who was bizarrely flamboyant in a lot of ways. Very flamboyant. To the point where you didn't have to really guess his orientation. And he made the dating app for the protagonist, the teacher. And the teacher started to want to know what the things of how the dating app works and things like that. And it was at that point as we were seeing like the super flamboyant character starting to get, we were like, nah, this isn't appropriate for you. And that's when we turned it off, was that part when that was made. So it's weird. And this is the thing is, I'm not like a prude. I grew up watching Cow and Chicken, Ren and Stimpy, Dexter's Lab, Johnny Bravo. They had some things that weren't completely appropriate, but they were still slapstick. And this wasn't as slapstick. This was flamboyant to be flamboyant in a lot of ways and inappropriate in terms of like the content of going on in episode 2. Mainstreaming the occult. Episodes 1, antagonist's mother reads and puts a lot of stock in tarot cards. Yeah, there was that with the tarot cards. The mom was weird. She seemed like a deadbeat mom too, in a little bit of a way where she wasn't supporting her daughter in baseball. And it was the mother and father were divorced. You have a moment there where she's trying to like figure out a time to play with her dad. And he's like, Tuesday's not my day. Friday's my day. And so you get that kind of element of like the split up family thing. Woke elements. What's not woke? Episode 1's antagonist. I don't know why he calls him antagonist or protagonist, but praise to God throughout the episode, usually in a respectful way. See next. The dad is a loving and supportive father. So yeah, she mentions the Lord and prays to him a few times, which I thought was different. And her 5 sisters. Episode 1 opens with a heartfelt prayer to God's help that quickly devolves into what appears to be an admission of a tween girl having pleasured herself, for which she quickly apologizes to God and promises never to do again, which I didn't catch, but probably was there. The series is rated TV PG, which is supposedly appropriate for children 8 and up. He says white girls can't jump. The horrendously bad member of the softball team also happens to be the only white person, the girl. Yeah. Pat, there was a very young boy. I think it's a boy. I can't find out for sure, and I can't even figure out who voices him. In a short scene in both episodes who wears large earrings, there are possibly gauges. Boys and girls sports. And this talks about how it was a mixed, diverse group of boys. There was some young boys on the softball team, which it's a little weird. I don't think they're playing softball. I agree with that. They're not playing softball in middle school. They're already split up into baseball and softball. Work happy, not hard. Episode 1 focused on the little girl who's terrible softball player on a really good team. Everyone, her coach and dad included, is incredibly supportive of her mediocrity. While her level of anxiety is unhealthy for someone so young, her attempts and desire to excel, she works incredibly hard every day at improving, are met not with encouragement and an explanation that she doesn't need to have a panic attack, but only that she shouldn't care so much and it's more important to have fun. There is that element, but I do think that it wasn't a terrible message that the dad was like, I'm not putting pressure on you type of thing. You need to go out there and just do your best. And even in the middle school age, yes, they are competitive, but you do want to still try and keep sports fun. As a coach, someone who coaches and has coached before, there is that element of, you do want to still try to remind the kids that it's a game. Do not put your life in this. Don't care as much. Just go play the game. there is that element. So I wasn't knocking it as hard that her hard work wasn't met. Like, you don't want your kids to, especially if it's their daughter too, don't make that your life. You're still a child. You're still a middle schooler. Like, you can enjoy this. Squiggle saying all those cartoons are premium quality. I agree. All the cartoons were amazing. We'll never get anything like the cartoons ever again. Flyover country diversity has no one making movies and shows today ever been to a small town in the middle of America. There isn't that much diversity in them. My graduating class of 230, the biggest graduating class it ever had one black person and one person of Mexican descent. The rest were white. This show has about 6 white people on it. Yeah, I mean, what did you expect, James? It's Disney. Pushing mops and stool. Inexplicably, the male janitor is a flamboyant Eastern European who appears to wear lipstick. His sexual proclivities are never explicitly stated, but he's clearly gay. Yeah, and that's kind of where I drew the line with my kids. And once again, I'm not a prude. I never claimed to be. I don't give a shit about that type of stuff. But it was just the way it was being portrayed. Like, it's obviously flamboyantly gay. And it was creepy. It was creepy the way he was acting with the teacher. And the fact that they were like delving into this teacher's love life in a kid's show. Very bizarre. So that was James's review. I'm worth it at work. We appreciate what James does. He's freaking awesome. He works hard. He watches all these shows so that most of us don't have to. But again, I took the chance, and the first episode was decent enough. I will say that if you are a parent, though, watch it with your kid, because your kid's going to have questions about why the panic attack's happening, the anxiety, things like that. And maybe you don't feel like your kid is ready to tackle that. I didn't think it was going to go that deep. I was able to explain it to my kids. And, so I don't think it's going to do anything to them. But the second episode is where I did draw the line. And even, like I said, my wife, who's not as much into this type of, political stuff, was like, yeah, no, get this out of here. So Nate G coming in saying, I'm from a Midwestern small town, plenty of Mexicans. Yeah, but you're Arizona. Arizona doesn't count. Just kidding, Nate. So that was that there. And that's going to end our nerdy stuff. So now let's get into the nitty gritty. See, I told everyone this episode may be long because we're ready. We're about an hour, almost an hour and 10 in, and we're just getting to the politics. So continue to hang out here. Let's do it. So let's jump right in. We are going to talk about the continuing resolution that just passed. And oh boy, was there some controversy. Thomas Massie was in the center of it, as he usually is with these continuing resolutions. So let's jump in and see what he said. So this is a X post, a tweet, Twix, whatever you want to call it, from Mr. Massie. And here he is. This is on the 9th. This is now 5 days ago, saying, I'm not voting for the continuing resolution budget, cut, copy, paste, omnibus this week. Why would I vote to continue the waste, fraud, and abuse Doge has found? We were told that the CR in December would get us to March when we would fight. Here we are in March, punting again. WTFO. So, I mean, I can't say I disagree. Nate G saying I'm originally from Nebraska, though. Okay, you get that. I'll give you that one. But I don't disagree with Thomas Massie here. Thomas Massie's right. I didn't even read what he wrote underneath here. He wrote, I'm sorry, but nothing is different. Nothing is different in September. The Uniparty is lying to Trump. Yes. And this is how it always goes, right? And this is possibly the biggest knock on Trump, is he's very much get along to go along, right? He likes good press more than he likes bad press on some things. And right here, he pushed an omnibus. And we know omnibuses are bad, but this isn't the first time, right? Because even when he wasn't president, he pushed for the CR in December, and not even December before that. He pushed for one of the CRs. Like, he pushed for it in December. He was elected and he pushed for it. And it was before he was sworn in. So yeah, Trump hasn't been opposed to these massive omnibus bills. And I don't disagree with Thomas Massie. And Thomas Massie was then ripped left and right from MAGA. And here is the main cause why Thomas Massie was ripped. Because on Truth Social, Donald Trump, after he said that, went on this little bit of a tirade. He did, in quotes there, Congressman Thomas Massey voted to delay the debt ceiling bill from the Biden administration to the Trump administration from September before the election to June after the election, without getting anything for this horrendously stupid move, when Republicans could have gotten everything they wanted. He additionally voted to delay the current budget disaster from the Biden administration to the Trump administration. I was running for office at the time, doing my thing. When I heard about this, it was quite simply hard to believe, a catastrophic mistake. Now, and virtually on every other vote, he is a very simple no. He can't even approve a continuing resolution when he approved them many times during his career as a congressman. Thomas Massey is a grandstander, and the great people of Kentucky are going to be watching a very interesting primary in the not too distant future. So, Trump already tried to have Massey primaried. It got wrecked, okay? And it's not going to do anything here. Donald Trump is wrong on this. And the CR got passed. It got pushed through. Trump is wrong if you're a conservative, if you are somebody who believes in small government, if you're somebody who wants to see the budget actually fucking done, if you want to see 12 budget bills done. And it's this is where we have good Trump, bad Trump, right? This is bad Trump. CRs are bad. Continuing resolutions are bad. Omnibuses are bad because that is where we get all of the little pork and tarpon bullshit thrown in. And now it is funded. These are the type of things that he put Elon Musk in charge to get rid of, and he is now allowing it to be funded again. And it is, and Massey is right. This is bullshit. Because come September, we're not going to hear. Here's the thing. If any of this shit were true, and again, the Senate passed this. This is now the CR has moved on. We are punting until September. If they were serious, then we will hear tomorrow we are setting up the 12 committees to get 12 budgetary committees to hash out a budget. Did we hear that in December? No. Are we going to hear it? No. Speaker Johnson's not going to do that. He's a uniparty. He doesn't give a fuck. None of them want to do this. Because if they do it, then if it doesn't get done, if the budget sucks that they come up with, then they're going to sit there in September and they're going to be like, well, no, get this done. But they're not going to. They're going to punt again. Come September, we're going to have the same exact fucking thing. We're going to be near a government shutdown. They're not even going to have thought about doing the budget properly. And they're going to have to go, we're going to have to pass another continuing resolution. I promise next time we're going to get to it. And Thomas Massey and then Ron Paul over in the Senate voted no, are going to be the lone wolf saying, no, this is stupid. And what gets you even further with this is when you understand that Chuck Schumer was against this, was against the bill, was saying he was going to vote no, until this happened, when Chucky Boy caved. What's hilarious is he's been protesting against this the whole time, and now he's trying to pit it on Donald Trump. He's trying to pit in. I don't know if I was actually showing that. Hold on. We're going to go back. Chuck Schumer is trying to pit this all on Donald Trump, which is absolutely hilarious. And Nate coming in saying Trump tried the primary Massey in his first run as president. Didn't end well for Trump. Exactly. So I'm sorry. I wasn't showing that. Here we go. We're going to listen to Chuck right here.
Republican rejection leads us to a decision. And it's not really a decision. It's a Hobson's choice. Either proceed with the bill before us or risk Donald Trump throwing America into the chaos of a shutdown.
The chaos of a shutdown. He has the balls to say that Trump is the one putting him into a chaos of a shutdown when they were going to be the ones to vote against a bill that Republicans brought. Now, again, I don't agree with the bill, but we'll talk a little more about Schumer after this.
This, in my view, is no choice at all. While the CR bill is very bad, the potential for a shutdown has consequences for America that are much, much worse. For sure, the Republican bill is a terrible option. It is not a clean CR. It is deeply partisan.
And here's the thing. The fuck is a clean CR? What is a clean CR? There's no such thing as a clean CR, okay? What they're referring to as a clean CR is, oh, this is only dealing with the budget. Fuck you all, okay? Because it's not. Because we're not balancing the budget. There's no such thing as a clean CR. There's always pork. There's always tarp. There's always bullshit thrown in there. So I don't want to hear, I hate when they say it's a clean CR. And fuck that. It's not, there's no such thing. You know what a clean CR is? One that doesn't exist. A true budget that's balanced. That's what a good one is. CRs are nonsense and they should be illegal.
It doesn't address far too many of this country's needs, but I believe allowing Donald Trump to take even much more power via a government shutdown is a far worse option. And before I explain why, let me be clear about one thing. No one on my side of the aisle wants a government shutdown. Members who support this CR do not want a government shutdown. Members who oppose this CR do not want a government shutdown.
So here's the thing, and here's what we're going to get to. He is absolutely full of shit. So Chuck Schumer and the Democrats were all over screaming about this. The ones that supported, I think 10 came over and supported it to push it over to, you know, they got the cloture and then they passed it. Okay. Here's the bottom line. They were always going to pass this in the Senate. The House knew that they didn't have to capitulate and come over to pass this, that they could all rally against it so they could be against, so they could have a no vote against Trump and that the Republicans could push that on their own. So they were safe politically to say no. The senators always knew they were going to come to this point, okay? They knew they were going to do this. This was all political grandstanding. All of this was political theater, as it always is. As it always is, because the leftists in the House knew that they weren't going to, you know, there was no chance of whether they voted yes or no, the Republicans were going to push their bill. So it wasn't going to sit there and be blamed on them for any sort of a shutdown. Them voting yay or nay had no difference in the vote in the House. So they safely could vote no and say, I stood up to Trump and the evil Republicans. Grr. And then in the Senate, Schumer could pull this shit. We're up to yesterday. He's talking about, you know, how much this is a terrible bill. I'm not going to support it, blah, blah, blah. Or I think 2 days ago. Because I think yesterday is when he said he came around and he was going to vote for it. And now here they are. And there's 10 plus members coming and voting for it from Democrats because they always knew they were going to. That's the thing. They always knew they were going to. And now they have this carefully planned thing where Schumer can try and come in and look like the white knight. We can't allow Donald. What do you mean you can't allow? Donald Trump's the one that wanted the continuing resolution. And Schumer is going to try and take a victory lap like we made sure we stopped him from. What do you mean you stopped him? Like the fact that they're, you know, the people on the left are going to see Chuck Schumer saying this and be like, we got a victory. We prevented Donald Trump's shutdown. And it was like, no. If this shutdown happened, it was always going to be on the Democrats. And if the shutdown happened, you were going to have people like me and a bunch of us on the right just like, yes, thank you, Democrats. Shut it down. But here they are trying, you know, they try and flip everything. And they knew that this was going to happen. All the grandstanding with Chucky and all the leftists yelling about the CR, we're not going to vote for it. It's a no. It's so bad, blah, blah, blah. It was always bullshit. Always political theater, always bullshit. So there's that guy. He's, you know, Chuck Schumer's a freaking clown. We know he's a clown. And, you know, and then we have Thomas Massey coming back one more time here. And this is his tweet saying 62-38 in the Senate. As I predicted 3 days ago, Senate Democrats carried this across the finish line because it's basically a continuation of the Schumer-Biden-Johnson 2024 omnibus, which it is. 10 Senate Democrats voted yes, and 1 Senate Republican voted no, Rand Paul. So it's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. And Massey was right. Trump was wrong. And I'm a Trump supporter who can admit when Trump is fucking wrong. And we need to get there. Okay, everyone? We need to make sure that our MAGA allies, I guess, I don't know what the fuck they are, our serious heavy MAGA people, do not push this party into craziness. Do not allow this to go on because they're going to be the ones that, again, I say it all the time. Trump is not a conservative, y'all. Trump is still a very much, yes, conservative, much more conservative leanings and proclivities than he's ever had in his life from 2016 till now, obviously. But he's still in very many ways a Bill Clinton Democrat, okay? So we're going to have to hold his feet to the fire when he's doing uniparty bullshit like this. Because Trump does look at things like a business. And I think he still thinks that if he massages Speaker Johnson and John Thune enough, that he's going to get it what he wants from them. And it ain't going to work that way, Trump. It doesn't work that way. They don't care about Trump's agenda. They talk a big game. They know what they have to say to get elected. They know what they have to say in front of the cameras. But in the end, it is their agenda that still matters. And we saw it, and we see it, and we know it. And the thing is, we know it, and we can't allow, we can't allow people to just sit there and continue to let them get off. We have to keep calling out the uniparty and all the fucking Republicans that supported the CR and voted for it, honestly, because it's terrible. And, again, like I said in the beginning, kicking the can. We are just kicking the can down the road. And Doge won't matter if we keep on funding bullshit. Bottom line, if we can't balance a budget, if we can't do all these things, and balancing the budget will be hard, right? Because it will also be in conjunction with what Doge is doing. It'll be breaking it up, and I don't know what the exact 12 different sections are, but breaking it up into the 12 sections and fine-tooth combing the budget and coming out with legitimate numbers for what you believe you need in order to fund it. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to. And that's the thing. We have a bunch of lazy motherfuckers in Congress that don't want to do their jobs. So what do? They grandstand. They grandstand. And that's it. And it's hilarious for Trump to call Massey a grandstander when everyone that voted for the CR, all they do is grandstand. Like I said, if they're serious, Monday, whatever. I don't think they're in session for the weekend. Monday, Speaker Johnson is coming out and appointing 12 committee chairs, subcommittee chairs, budgetary, to sit there and hash out each section of the budget, to get working on it now. And he is sitting there, and I don't know how big the subcommittees will be, but he is granting, equal Democrat and Republican subcommittees, maybe one more. I don't know how it works. I think the Republicans, the majority party always gets a favorable number in these types of things, but he's appointing people, and they're going to start hashing out these budget things. Because you know what? At least give us the fucking facade, Washington, right? House, I'll at least ask, at a minimum, Speaker Johnson, make these committees and at least give us the facade like you're doing it. So then when September comes around, you can sit there and be like, well, oh shucks, we worked hard. And it just was so much to go through, and we didn't have the time. We made the subcommittees, and Doge found so much that we've had to change up so much. Give us excuses, but at least make the committees. Make the subcommittees to get the budget square. That's all I ask. Maybe that's it. Maybe we just need to start there. We're not going to do that. Speaker Johnson's full of shit. He always has been. He always will be. And Trump keeps on allowing him to be full of shit. That's part of the problem. So there's that. There is Speaker Johnson. And now I want to move on because there's some shit going on outside of just in Congress. And I talked about Elon Musk. There is a bunch of leftists doing leftist things. And I will say this right away, up front, to the camera. Anyone that is a leftist that happens to watch this, any of my friends that see this on social media, if you are on the left, if you can continue to support this group of people, because these are the people that you vote with, these are the people you align with, you're part of the problem, y'all. Because your ideology has always been violent, always been the ones that have used violence to get their way or try to get their way. Leftism always goes this way. And here's what I'm talking about. This is a Forbes article. Surge in Tesla protests. AG Bondi says Justice Department will investigate. So we're going down here. There is a timeline of all the shit that has gone on. I do it backwards, which is weird, but I'll read it for you because Pam Bondi said that they're going to launch an investigation. Donald Trump said that the protests are going to go through hell. So let's go through this timeline. This is a reverse chronological timeline, which I don't know why they did reverse chronological, but this is what we got. Let me adjust this here to make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So March 13th, yesterday, more than a dozen shots were fired at a Tesla dealership in Tigard, Oregon, the second such incident at the location in 1 week, causing damage to cars, store windows, and police. I'll read that again and I'll highlight it. shots, dozen shots. A firearm was shot into a Tesla dealership by a leftist psycho. Let's keep going. March 12th, protesters from Just Stop Oil, a British environmentalist group, poured orange liquid latex over a Tesla Optimus robot at a company store in London as a form of protest against Musk, whom organizers said in a statement is throwing hundreds of thousands of people out of work, jeopardizing climate, and denying healthcare to vulnerable people. So number one, just like normal, Just Stop Oil does not know what the fuck they're talking about. Number one. Number two, the fact that a bunch of British people are getting involved, and British environmentalists are let's go through the timeline here. How long have we been told that electric is the future? Right? Electric cars, electric is the future. And now these idiots from Just Stop Oil, who apparently think electric is the future and hate oil, are mad at the guy that started pushing electric cars about 5 years before anyone thought they could for such a dumb fucking reason, throwing hundreds of people out of work. Let's get this correct. A government job isn't a job. It's a leech off the fucking of the people, okay? You are making taxpayer money. So your job is only there if it's necessary. And if it's not necessary, you should be thrown the fuck out. I'm sorry. Maybe it's mean, and maybe someone watching this knows somebody that worked for the federal government and lost their job. I hope that you developed enough skills that you'll work in the private sector, okay? Because if you're good at what you do, or you were ever good at what you did, you'll be fine. And I hope you will be. I hope everyone that lost their job will find one semi-equivalent or better. But if you are necessary, you will stay. If not, you're getting kicked the fuck out. Number two, jeopardizing climate science. Climate science is fake, y'all. Period. With the way they speak about it, it's fake. And lastly, denying healthcare to vulnerable people. That's not even true. They just lie. No one's denying healthcare to anybody. It's just a lie. So Just Stop Oil is always fucking stupid. They will never stop being stupid. March 11th. 3 Tesla vehicles at Dedham, Massachusetts Tesla dealership were vandalized, police said, with all 4 wheels on each vehicle damaged and 2 others defaced with spray paint. I don't know what these people think that hurting Tesla cars are going to do. I guess hurting the stock of Elon Musk. The guy doesn't give a fuck. Hurt a few of his cars, you idiots. You're just hurting the so here's the funny part is, and here's what they don't care about. You fucking up product isn't hurting Elon Musk more than it's hurting the salesman who is working his ass off to try and get a sale and commission off that vehicle. That's who it's hurting. The everyday person, not Elon Musk. Let's keep going. March 9th. 4 Tesla Cybertrucks were damaged in a fire in Seattle, fire officials told the Associated Press, though the origin of fire is unclear and under investigation. I'm sorry, y'all. 4 of them, it was unintentional, okay? This is a terrorist form of the thing. They set fire to Tesla Cybertrucks. That's what they did. March 7th. A man unintentionally set his clothes on fire, which is hilarious. We're going to read this whole thing and just explain to me why they led with this, okay? A man unintentionally set his clothes on fire while also setting fire to 3 Tesla charging stations with Molotov cocktails in a North Charleston, South Carolina parking lot while wearing a shirt that says "Fuck Trump, long live Ukraine." Multiple outlets reported. Okay. They lead with a man unintentionally set his clothes on fire. That should be the last part, y'all. Forbes, let me help you out real quick. A man set fire to Tesla charging stations using Molotov cocktails and unintentionally set himself on fire. Then you could do the rest. That's fine. But flip that. Because the important part is a psycho leftist terrorist, because he's a fucking terrorist, was a moron as well and used Molotov cocktails, which has been a leftist tool of terroristic tactics from the jump. Whether underground, all your different leftist guerrilla groups around the world, this is their fucking drink of choice, if you want to say, when it comes to terrorism. It's Molotov cocktails. And don't take my word for it. It's going to be mentioned a few times more here. March 6th, at least 7 shots were fired at a T-Guard, Oregon Tesla dealership, police said, which caused damage to 3 cars in the store's windows. This is the same T-Guard, Oregon dealership that was fired on just yesterday. March 3rd, police said 7 Tesla charging stations in Littleton, Massachusetts sustained heavy damage and fires that appeared to be intentionally set. Stop saying appeared. We know it. 7 of them. 7. 1 of them catches on fire. Okay, maybe it's an accident. Something happened. 7 of them? And again, these are the people that have been telling us for years that electric's the way to go. Hypocritical idiots. Let's keep going here. March 2nd. Baltimore County Police said graffiti was found at a Tesla dealership in Owings Mills, Maryland, which said "No Musk" alongside what appeared to be resemble a swastika. No, y'all. Again, Forbes runs cover for these fucking people. Leftists are showing their true colors because Nazism is an extreme version of leftism. They are drawing a swastika because they are the fucking Nazis, okay? They are the people they are trying to use threats in order to get people to not go to these dealerships, not buy Teslas, not use these charging stations. These are terroristic, and Trump is right. They are domestic terrorists, y'all. Like, this isn't a question. February 24th. Now, we're going back into mid-February. This goes pretty damn far back. This person right here this is insane. 42-year-old Colorado resident Lucy Grace Nelton was confronted by police and charged with malicious destruction of property for numerous alleged instances of vandalism at a Tesla dealership in Loveland, Colorado, with police finding a container of gasoline plus a box of bottles and wick material in her car, according to a United States Attorney's Office for the District of Colorado. Now, it's going to be incredible what you're about to read, because this person did a ton of shit before they were confronted and charged. They should have been locked up a long time ago. February 19th. Windows of Salem, Oregon Tesla dealership were damaged by a man firing bullets from an AR-style rifle. The second incident connected to the Salem man, who faces federal weapons charge and who police say previously vandalized a dealership in January. So we're going to get to that one too. Again, second charge, throw them in jail. They should be held. These people should now be held because they cannot be trusted. This is what the left does, y'all. They drive people crazy and they make them think, and they tell them violence is the right way. Because you'll see, I have a thing that we pulled up here that you'll see why I say that. February 11th, Nelson allegedly sprayed graffiti using an expletive, and this is the woman again, on the front of the windows of the Loveland Tesla dealership, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office, leading to a confrontation with the security guard. So again, she got arrested on the 24th. She did something on the 11th. The 7th, this woman was there again. Nelson was accused of using red graffiti on a wall of the Loveland Tesla dealership in possible arson, with police finding multiple broken bottles consistent with incendiary devices, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Molotov cocktails. Again, keep going. February 2nd. This woman is still around. She's going back this far. Police accused Nelson of spray painting the word Nazi on a Loveland Tesla dealership sign. And January 29th is when this fucking person started. There's no reason it should have gone a month before she was actually charged. 29th, Nelson allegedly threw Molotov cocktail aimed at a Cybertruck on display at a Loveland Tesla dealership, causing a fire, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. How is this person not detained? They're psychos. Anybody who throws a Molotov cocktail should not be allowed back in society until they are charged and they are booked. It's insane. A Molotov cocktail? That is a terroristic device. You are using that to cause terror. It is going to spread fire. It could kill people. That is a deadly weapon. It is a makeshift mini bomb. And the last one here, the Salem man reportedly threw a Molotov cocktails at Tesla vehicles, causing fires impact to one vehicle, police said. Like, what a fucking group of people. This is the timeline. Squiggle saying exactly crypto fascism. Yes, it is. It's straight up fascism. Fuck, it is fascism, y'all. I'm going to do a video at some point talking about how fascism is left wing, because people are stupid. And I want to make the video so that anyone that needs to talk to a family member can at least pull up my video and be like, hey, here's why you're a fucking leftist and you're the Nazi. Anyway, so this was the timeline. I don't care about the rest of the article here. But this was the timeline of, what went down. A bunch of this stuff is bullshit. They talk about Tesla takedown, which brings us to my next piece here. From Democracy Now!, which is a fucking psycho-globalist website, leftist website. Tesla takedown. Protests grow across the U.S. as Trump and Musk brand activists as terrorists. So there's a short interview here with a crazy bitch from Tesla takedown, who Elon Musk has correctly labeled a terrorist. USAID was the mask. 100% it was the mask. It was 100%. And this is a hilarious thing that, Democracy Now! Is trying to run cover for Tesla Takedown, who Musk correctly said it is a Soros-funded group, one of them, and that you're going to see her try and say, we don't promote the violence. Bullshit. This is straight out of Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, y'all. If you've never read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, 100% go read it, because you will know and you'll learn to recognize all of these tactics and what they are using in order to sit there and try and get change. This is all Saul Alinsky, and we are seeing it happen. And if you are someone in government, if you are someone in law enforcement and you have not read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, you are really doing yourself a disservice, because then you have no idea what the fuck these people are actually doing. Everybody should read that, because the leftists have. And that's where they use their tactics. And also go access beautifultrouble.org, where they also get tips on how to do this shit. Maybe I'll bring it up later. But let's watch this interview with this absolute fucking psycho. And I don't know how long it is, but it just skips to a clip with Democracy Now! Here.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman. Elon Musk targeted me over Tesla protests. That proves our movement is working. That's a new article, a headline of a new article in The Guardian by our next guest, who's been helping to organize...
Hilarious, The Guardian. What a fucking rag.
The Tesla takedown protests at Tesla showrooms to protest Elon Musk, President Trump's billionaire advisor, the richest man in the world, and his top campaign donor. While Musk has been helping to dismantle numerous government agencies, or leading the charge to dismantle them, stock prices for his company Tesla have fallen so much that President Trump felt compelled this week to...
Which is hilarious. Again, I said earlier, these are the same people that tell you stock prices in the stock market doesn't matter. And then when it's convenient, they love to use it.
Announce he'll personally buy a Tesla. On Tuesday, Trump and Musk held what's compared to an infomercial for Tesla outside the White House.
Mind you, no one said this shit when Joe Biden had a bunch of electric Wranglers, electric Jeeps there, and was talking about how great they were and the investment and shit like that when he was doing his electric vehicle mandate. Short memories, right? Short memories. Squiggle saying there's a conspiracy about Amy Goodman being Janis Joplin. Similar to the Joneses Hicks conspiracy. I mean, I love both of those. That's awesome. Let's keep going.
During the event, Trump told a reporter that he considers attacks on Tesla dealerships to be domestic terrorism.
So let's also get the rest of the quote there, though, because this is what these people do. And if you're someone that is dealing with a leftist friend and they're like, well, he said that attacks on Tesla dealership is domestic terrorism, he's defending Elon Musk. He said also that anybody that attacks the Tesla or any other company is going to have hell to pay. Any other company. I think he said American company too. So people are intentionally obtuse. Let's keep going here.
Mr. President talks about some of the violence that's been going on around the country at dealerships. Some say they should be labeled domestic terrorists.
I will do that. We got a lot of cameras up. We already know who some of them are. We're going to catch them. And they're bad guys. Let me tell you, you do it to Tesla and you do it to any company.
There you go. You do it to any company. I'm surprised they actually played it. You do it to Tesla, you do it to any company. Let's keep going.
We're going to catch you, and you're going to go through hell.
We're joined now by Valerie Costa, a Seattle-based activist who's helping to organize the Tesla takedown movement.
Why do they all look like this? Why do they all look the same? They look like they're all about to go try out for the newest live-action Daria. Why do they all look like this? It's like they found the same exact liberal white girl with the same exact glasses, and they just fucking cookie cutter, and they just made them all fucking these activist leaders. They all look like this.
with the local group Troublemakers and others. Valerie, can you talk about Elon Musk singling you out, and what are you doing in organizing? What is your goal? These protests around the country, from Washington State, Seattle, where you are, to here in New York, the Tesla dealership here.
Yeah, hi. So this past weekend, I woke up first Saturday to a tweet where Elon Musk had tweeted that Troublemakers, the group I organize with, along with 4 other organizations, were Act Blue funded, which is, at least for Troublemakers, is outright not true.
Which is absolutely bullshit, okay? She's bullshitting, because if it's not directly coming from Act Blue, then Act Blue is funneling it, because that's what Act Blue does. They funnel it around. So she's already full of shit. I might do a little more research, and next time we come on, I'll find out who the fucking Troublemakers are funded by. Because this is not grassroots. There was never anything about grassroots. This is the most astroturf fucking thing of all time, is all leftist protests.
And then Sunday morning, I received, a friend sent me the most chilling text for me, which was Elon Musk had retweeted another tweet where this person had taken a clip from a podcast interview I did about the Tesla takedown protests and made allegations that I was promoting vandalism and such. And Musk said, Costa is committing crimes. And
here's the thing. They are always promoting vandalism, okay? And you'll hear she runs excuse over here. Let's keep going.
So that was terrifying to receive, the news of that tweet, and the fallout from that has just been, there's been a lot of...
And here's the thing. She's not that scared of committing crimes, because when you read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, they want to get arrested. That is their goal. Their goal is to get arrested. They want to have the aggression put on them. That is something that they are looking for, because if they can start to point to the fact that they're the victim and turn it around and let the power look like they are overstepping, they then get the victory. And Squiggle saying, is that a trans Acosta person? I don't know. I don't know if she's just a very nerdy, bland-looking leftist woman, or if they're trans. I have no clue. I thought that for a second myself, Squiggles. But in fairness, Squiggles, to Valerie Costa, I am not going to say they are a trans person or assume, because I have nothing to go on that. So for this show, until we know otherwise, Valerie Costa is a woman. She might be mad at me for saying that, because she doesn't even probably know what the fuck a woman is. But for these purposes, Valerie Costa is a woman. Let's keep going.
People online trying to smear me, make connections, make up stories about who I am and where I get money from, all sorts of just harassment. And I've received threats. It's been scary. It's been scary. In response to a tweet from a person who essentially bought his way into the White House as the...
It's hilarious. Bought his way into the White House. He donated a lot of money because he saw leftists were taking over. And he's a advisor. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. Like, people were cool with the way that Obama chummed around with all the millionaires and billionaires. That was fine. That he had all those people coming to the White House constantly. They weren't even lobbying, but they were lobbyists there. Like, they were basically lobbying him for their causes. Squiggle saying, oh yeah, that's a trans look at that Adam's apple. Let's keep rolling here.
Largest online and social media platform, and is spreading outright lies about me and the movement as a whole, the Tesla takedown movement as a whole. So I'm just an organizer with the Seattle...
I'm just an organizer.
Seattle-based group Troublemakers. There's a group of us here. We're working with a number of organizations and individuals who've been planning protests at Tesla showrooms.
Again, read the Rules for Radicals. Saul Alinsky talks about how to train organizers and what they're supposed to do. Again, if you guys haven't read it, read it, because you'll be able to dismantle everything this individual is saying.
In the area for the last month or so. They're peaceful, nonviolent protests. They're First Amendment protected, free speech, peaceful assembly. And we've done that and we'll continue to do that as this movement is gaining momentum.
Can you talk about the fake buyers? actions at Tesla dealerships where there have been reports of protesters faking interest in buying a Tesla to waste time.
Which is hilarious that Amy brings this up, because I'll bring it up again. Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. They talk about doing exactly that in there. Going into a store and just wandering and wasting the time of the people. Making sure that you are looking and you bring things up and then you don't buy it. And that you continue to waste their time and flood the store so that the store can't do business. And when it can't do business, they will start to capitulate to what you are asking them to do. This is a tactic. Let's keep going.
I'm not sure. I know that people are, using different strategies.
Hilarious that she refused to talk about it. And you could tell, like, Amy kind of fucked up there giving away the game.
Tactics
She knows.
To engage with Tesla. But I can't speak to that particular strategy that people are using. I think there's different tools in the, protesters' toolbox.
Hilarious that she mentions that. Because, real quick, I have beautifultrouble.org. And here it is. The protesters' toolbox. Where do you think they're getting this shit from, y'all? Creative tools for more than just a world, more just world. Toolbox. Stories, theories, principles, tactics, methodologies. This is all here. They're giving it away if you know what to look for. It's all here. This is crazy. If this is exactly what we're about to look. This is a featured tool because they are going to sit there and start to crack down. If protest is made illegal, make daily life a protest. When repression makes protest too risky, turn ordinary acts, driving slowly, clapping, wearing black, or laughing into protest, thereby ridiculing the authorities and forcing them into a decision dilemma. It's what they're trying to do over here right now with Elon Musk. Look at some of the tactics here. These are all here. These are what they are doing. This is the shit that they are doing. You could just go down here. This is what they are distributed. The DDoS. They tell people how to DDoS right here. Like, this is wild that all you have to do, guys, is look. Hoax. A tactic to hoax people. It's crazy that you don't even have to look hard to understand occupation. What have they been doing in Colombia, y'all? It's so easy to just look here. They talk about a toolbox. This is it. This is it. The game is given away. It's not that hard. Game is given away. So let's go back to this right here. Let's finish this up.
Essentially, protesting Tesla. This protest is ultimately about hitting Elon Musk's bottom line. Every dollar that goes into Tesla, every Tesla that's purchased, increases his profits. And the more money he has, it's clear the more influence he has in the government and in the world. He was able to, like I said, buy his way into the White House with his $250 million contribution to Donald Trump's campaign. And he bought Twitter, giving himself sort of a platform to spread lies.
Coming from a person who's protesting Elon Musk for doing nothing but what Donald Trump was voted in for, and he was given the green light to do. This is the person spreading lies. No one's spreading more lies than her group. And Squiggles McJr. saying, dude, DDoS is a felony. Yes, it is. Go look at that toolbox. Squiggles, I'm not even kidding. Beautifultrouble.org. Go over there and read that toolbox and just go and click through the shit that they tell you to do. It is wild. It is all there. And then you will start to see, as you click through those things and you read it, you'll start to see all of the leftist tactics come to light. It is very easy to start to then decipher it all. It makes it like between reading Saul Alinsky, and then this is the next level. Beautiful Trouble is Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals on a website, taken to the next level there. Let's keep going now. Let's get the rest of this one.
And this campaign is giving people a way to show their outrage about what he's doing to dismantle critical services and government institutions that people rely on for their health and well-being in this country.
And again, spreading bullshit. No critical services have really been hurt. Honestly, there's been some things going on with the VA parts shutting down and things like that. But people are pretty pissed about some of the VA stuff. Okay. The VA works like shit anyway. Okay, y'all? So maybe you should shut some of it down, re-streamline it, get good employees there, and then it'll work better, because the VA has been a fuck up since it came around. It makes sense that X is under attack all week too. Yes, exactly. They are learning how to do this shit. Okay, let's keep going here.
And can you talk about the strategy of Tesla takedown, urging people to dump Tesla stock?
I think it's just related to what I just said. It's really about, you as a consumer, you as a person that may have stocks and investments, you can choose where to put your money. And I think right now, given the essentially fascist takeover of our government,
fascist takeover of our government, people, and the thing is, like, they truly believe this. And again, I will do a video on what Nazism and fascism truly is, so that people can use as a cudgel to bash over their leftist friends' heads of like, hey, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Watch this.
One thing that you can easily do is to move your money out of Tesla into other companies, into other things in your community. You can move it out of the market where your money will be used for better, for good.
And can you address Elon Musk's claims that about violence at Tesla dealerships? You're in Seattle, where on Sunday someone set fire to 4 Tesla Cybertrucks in a Tesla lot in Seattle's industrial district.
For sure, there's been vandalism at Tesla.
I need everyone to listen to this, because this is where this bitch runs excuses.
Dealerships, I've seen it on the news. I want to make it really clear that I don't, and the Tesla takedown movement, troublemakers, none of us have ever supported violence or called for violence. We do not believe in that as a strategy of nonviolent resistance. I think the vandalism really shows the outright anger and rage that people are feeling about what Elon Musk is doing right now in our.
So we don't condone it. We never call for it, but they are justified. Same shit we heard with the Black Lives Matter protests when they were killing people and fucking destroying cities. Same exact rhetoric. While we don't support it, it's justified because of what they did. Because Musk is such a bad guy that it's okay that they're throwing Molotov cocktails, setting shit on fire, shooting guns at people, attacking people's fucking cars. That's all okay, according to this person, because of a little bit of rage. These grown children justify being overly emotional.
Our government.
Clearly, the movement has had an effect. Even a Fox reporter questioning Elon Musk and President Trump at that infomercial at the White House, where you could see President Trump had a piece of paper that talked about the costs of various Tesla cars, over $100,000.
All right, I'm actually done with this. I don't give a fuck anymore. There's some transcripts here. Maybe I'll jump down to the transcript because I'm tired of hearing her talk. Let's just scroll down here. Get that the fuck out of my side. Boom, boom. Let's see. Elon Musk talking about violence, domestic dealerships. It's just a whole bunch more bullshit here. And just in the end, I just wanted everyone to see that and know where we need to go. And we get to use the state to do it. Yeah, exactly. They get to use the state to do it. So I just wanted everyone to see that shit going on and that they justified it. Like, it's one thing for us to read about it, us to complain about it on the right and get the timeline and things like that. And we know what we're going to say about it, right? But it's another thing that when you're seeing that organizer justifying it and fucking just blatantly lying, and Amy Goodman giving her the platform and the bullshit that she's spewing, like, it's just all nonsense. And again, I showed everyone exactly where this shit comes from, right? And again, everyone needs to go on Beautiful Trouble. because it's exactly where you can see what they're doing. I don't want to spend too much more time on it, but just bringing it right back real quick. You could just see this is the toolbox. You can get the accounts of memorable actions and campaigns so you can see what they did, theories, guidelines for how to design successful actions, principles to tell you how to think, the tactics, like I said, then the methodologies. Like this one's interesting right here, your methodologies. How to do these things. Artstorm, Baraza, like they have different names. So if you really want to know what's going on, building resilience, how often do we hear the word resilience, right? Activities and practices for building individual, small group, and community resilience so we can create sustainable, impactful, and thriving groups capable of changing the world for better. Like building the resilience of creating these groups, the troublemakers, the Tesla takedown group. Like these are all things that we should be aware of. Oh, no, I don't want this bullshit. Get out of here. What was I looking at? SMART objectives. Strong campaigns are built on the series of short and medium term SMART objectives that function as intermediary steps towards more ambitious and campaign goals. So right here, SMART. Let's see if we can define SMART here. Because I forget what it is. I know what it is. And they quote Paulo Freire here. What can we do today so that tomorrow we can do what we were unable to do today? Paulo Freire is a fucking asshole that completely and totally, single-handedly ruined our system over here. I want to see if we can get, I don't know if we have a definition of SMART here. One day we got to look up eventually what the definition of SMART is, but I don't want to get too bogged down here. But yeah, this is their playbook, y'all. If you want to know what the leftists are doing, did I link this in the description? I'll link it. I will change the description up and I will link it. Maybe I'll do that as I speak here. But yeah, no, it is something that we all need to be aware of. And yeah, Squiggles, I'll put that in there. Probably at the end of the show, I'll go back and edit it and throw it in to the description just so everyone has it. If they're going to the YouTube and stuff like that. Because we do need to know about this stuff. It's very important. But all right, where am I? I'm already, Jesus Christmas. Maybe pin a link in the comments. Maybe I can do that. Yeah, look at you. Look at you. Let's do it. BeautifulTrouble.org. Boom. Throwing it in there. And there we go. It's pinned. So there you go. You can go and you can click it there. Let me make sure I spelled it correctly. All right. BeautifulTrouble.org. Yep. There you go. You can go in there. Let me know if that works, Wiggles. Let me know if that pinned up. According to me on my Restream side, it pinned up, but I just want to make sure that it worked. So yeah, it's right there. And I want to move on now because I'm tired of being mad about Beautiful Trouble. This is another massive story. And again, like I said, I didn't know how long this was going to take tonight. We're going to be here for a little while, but this is another massive story because there have been conservative influencers, from what I've heard, Nick Sorter, Gunther Eagleman, who else? A bunch of the InfoWar people, Owen Schroyer. Over the last 48 hours, we've had a slew of swattings. And so what a swatting is somebody calls in a situation where a SWAT team is warranted, usually that there's a hostage situation going down. And it causes the SWAT team to show up and it could kill the individual that it was called on. This has happened before. It's a rare occasion, but the goal is to try and make sure that the individual that is getting the SWAT team called on them gets killed. And that they know that they're taking that risk. This is a terrorist tactic. It is an absolute terrorist tactic to try and get your adversaries killed. And I want to read, a story here from Fox News. And it is FBI is investigating rise in swatting incidents after several conservatives targeted, Kash Patel says. So let's go right here. FBI Director Kash Patel on Friday revealed, that the agency is investigating a recent spike in swatting incidents after several conservative media figures said they were targeted. I want to address the alarming rise in swatting incidents targeting media figures, Patel wrote Friday morning on his social media. The FBI is aware of this dangerous trend, and my team and I are already taking action to investigating to hold responsible accountable. The director stressed this isn't about politics. Weaponizing law enforcement against any American is not only morally reprehensible, but also endangers lives, including our officers. So one thing that I want to ask is, when these law enforcement agencies are getting the notice of they have to go in and SWAT somebody, can they find out who the person is first before they even go in and do it? Like, can they just look up, and if it's, and this isn't going to be the right way to do it, right? Like, I don't want this to be a thing, but it seems like it has to be for a little bit, where they can look up the person and find out if they're a conservative personality. So then they can go in maybe a little bit different. Because, man, this is getting fucked up beyond belief, what's going on. Squiggle saying swatting needs to be life under prison. Yeah, life in prison. Absolutely. It should be, because it's attempted murder. So let's keep going here. So again, swatting is when a person attempts to send armed law enforcement to another person's house over a fake incident, which has led to deadly consequences in the past. Patel saying it won't be tolerated. They're committed, blah, blah, he added. So conservative podcaster Nick Sorter, and he's more of a reporter than anything, and said Thursday on X that both his father and sister were swatted on the same day. Here's what Sorter said. Dozen cops attempted to kick my dad's door in at gunpoint, he wrote. This is literal fucking terrorism, and the FBI should treat it as such. Before calling in the SWAT, the dumb shit sent my sister an email calling me a Nazi, of course. So motive is clear. Like, this is crazy. And it's not done. Sorter said the person who called the police on his father claimed he was killing his entire family, requiring them to intervene with deadly force. This is nothing short of an attempted murder. They wanted the police to kill my father, he added. Conservative host Sean Farash wrote in his X account that he and his wife were swatted Thursday night. I watched. I actually pulled up X at the point and saw I'm being swatted. That's what he just wrote. Harass right, we are totally fine, he assured his followers. Thank you to everyone who checked in. We are going to do whatever is necessary to find out who is behind these coordinated attacks and hold them accountable to the fullest extent. Anyone here that listens to Timcast at all knows that Timcast has been swatted like 16 times over the last few years. It is just craziness. Squiggle saying nobody should be able to call out the SWAT team without being a neighbor or giving a full name. And also, I think at this point, Squiggles, what should be done is, they know who calls, right? Like, you can get pinged right away. You dial 911, your phone is emitting that emergency ping. They know where you are. They should have a squad car also sent to that spot. If you're going to then send the SWAT team out to the place, you have to do your due diligence, right? But they should also send a squad car immediately within the area, ping to that phone, going to that person. Why not? Why not, y'all? I think that would solve a little bit. Now, again, people can probably try to throw their phone and things like that, VPNs and stuff. There's probably more intricate things, but make them have to use these, right? Make them have to use these. Send a squad car out. Now, if you're getting a call and it's from someone, like you said, 2 towns away, things like that, and Squiggles, you said, nah, you can mask it. If it's a mass call, say, I'm sorry, we don't accept these. Maybe we should stop accepting mass calls. And if you're getting a call from Wabash, fucking Washington, and you're in West Virginia, don't take it seriously. Like, I think we need to get to that point where we need to start using discretion. They mask their numbers using cyber tools. Yeah. And again, if that happens, then, fuck it. Don't take it seriously. But there's got to be better ways. There has to be more sophisticated ways to figure out if this is legit before sending a SWAT team there. An apparent swatting call at Georgia GOP Marjorie Taylor Greene's home in December turned deadly following a car accident with police. Greene at the time said she had been swatted at least 8 times before the fake bomb threat. In January, lawmakers introduced a bipartisan and bicameral bill to impose strict penalties for people who make swatting calls, including up to 20 years in prison if someone is seriously injured or killed at the incident. See, that's the problem. No, it shouldn't be if somebody is killed. It should be if you are found guilty of making a false swatting call, you should be able to face 20 years in prison. Period. And Squiggle saying, yep, they shouldn't take calls from outside the country. No, they shouldn't take calls from outside the country or outside the state. And they should even be skeptical if it's more than like a county away. Really. Like, we should start being able to, and they can see those things on there when they're getting those things, then they're getting the calls. And they should question the caller. Should very much question the caller. Now, there should be a much more, the people who take the phone calls for 911 services should be instructed to be much more diligent now on these calls. So let's keep going here. Having spent over 40 years in law enforcement, I've seen firsthand how swatting is reckless and dangerous action that not only puts innocent lives at risk, but also wastes critical resources. Representative Mike Ezell from Mississippi said in a statement in January when introducing the bill in the House. But while they're talking about the bill now, I don't give a fuck about the bill. So overall, my biggest stress point is the dangers of swatting. We know what they are. Like I said, they're trying to get people killed. Squiggle saying it should be 100 years, something like that, something insane. Absolutely. A major deterrent, right? Here's what I want to stress. We need to make sure that it doesn't deter us as conservative, right-leaning individuals. We need to make sure that enough of us, and again, it's going to get crazy. We did see an InfoWar individual be killed recently. A reporter from InfoWars was killed recently, but 2 weeks ago, right? Tragic. And the thing is, it's going to get more and more dangerous, y'all. Because when the left is pushed up against the wall and when the left is floundering, they become violent. Very, very, very violent. And they're going to point to J6, right? That's all they have. J6, 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 right? That's all they have. And yeah, there's people on the right, and again, arguing whether or not it was agitated and it was more leftist agitating. That's neither here nor there. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we'll get some legitimate J6 stuff as we see that they're trying to do some stuff in Congress. Maybe. But we need to make sure that we stay on it. And I get it. Listen, I'm a small podcaster, right? My risk of being swatted, my risk of being noticed is tiny to very much zero. But I'll say this. As I get bigger, even if we get bigger, if David and I get bigger, we got to hold here. We got to continue to talk about these things. We cannot let their intimidation tactics push us and other conservatives into hiding. You need to stay out there. You need to stay vigilant. You need to stay making your videos. You need to stay informing. I mean, there's IRL reporters, and the IRL reporters are at risk. People like Billboard Chris, who goes IRL to do his protest, are at risk. They're always at risk. He's had his arm broken and shit like that. We just saw the story, the video of the street pastor that was talking about trans stuff that had a gun held to him. This shit's about to get more and more real. You thought the summer of love was interesting? I think the summer is going to be even worse. I think these next 4 years are going to be fucking terrible. But we need to stay strong. Because if you cower now, then everything that's about to get done politically will not stand. The thing is, we are winning, y'all. We are winning. Our message is better. We want what is better for people, not just a single group of people, everyone. We want what's best for kids. We want what's best for our country. They want what is best for their ideology. That is it. Now, don't get me wrong. The ground people, your normal Democrats, think that they are voting for what's best for the people. They think that they're voting for the good-hearted Democrats that just want to help people against the evil Republicans that just want to help the rich. It's tired, same old fucking message that they constantly talk about. But when you show them something like a beautifultrouble.org, get them to read Saul Alinsky's Rule for Radicals, and keep on pointing out shit like this. Like, you support this, y'all? You support this violence against Teslas? I know you don't like Elon, but should this be happening? Should they be putting everyday people at risk? Should they be putting the livelihood of normal people at risk that work at Tesla just trying to sell a car? Make them defend themselves now, because their own leftist people are making them go on the back foot. Make them defend themselves. Make them have to say, no, I don't support that. Well, this is who you are supporting. How many Democrat congressmen and senators have come out and condemned, full-hearted condemned, without a caveat? I don't want to hear, well, we never condone violence, but Elon Musk. No, fuck that. That's not an apology. It's not a condemnation. A full-hearted condemnation. I saw one. Ro Khanna came out when I believe the Molotov cocktail shit came out, or something like that. And Ro Khanna came out and was like, hey, y'all, I don't agree with Elon Musk. I don't agree with Donald Trump, but this is never tolerated. Kudos to you, Ro Khanna. And he got roasted and lambasted in the comments at X. Destroyed in the comments by leftist terrorists. That's all y'all are. You're a bunch of terrorists. And there's nothing else to say about it. So there's that. Squiggle saying the whole no-knock raid thing needs to be abolished anyway. Agreed. It looks cool on movies, but it shouldn't happen in real life. The no-knock raid is fucking unconstitutional in every which way. And Squiggle's correcting me saying stay strapped. Yes, stay strapped. Where you can. Don't get arrested. Carry the best weapon you can carry in the state that you are in. Research your states, find out what weapon you can carry, and carry the best weapon that you can use. Get a burner launcher, y'all. Honestly. I know we had on Law Self-Defense Andrew Bronca a little while ago, and that's when I was really interested in the burner launcher, and he was like, I'm not too... But you know what, though? You can carry the burner launcher in all 50 states and every single county and every single territory that you are in. Get a burner launcher. Because at minimum, if someone attacks you, you can use a non-lethal round or a pepper spray round against them to get them the fuck away from you. The pepper spray round, they claim it's accurate for up to 60 feet. It's more than enough space for you to get your own distance afterwards. So if you don't want to carry a gun because you don't want to take the risk of, a gun charge getting put away for life or killing someone, get a burner launcher. I think we should see more of those around, because if you have them, if you're a street reporter or someone and someone's accosting you, take out the fucking launcher and be like, get the fuck back. I have a non-lethal round, but it hurts like a bitch. And I also have pepper spray. Back the fuck up. Might work. And it will disperse that crowd. You have a crowd, you're sitting there, you have a crowd of lefties trying to attack you, pepper spray. They're all going to be fucking crying. You might be in too. You may be crying too, but it might allow you to get away. So there's that. And this isn't an ad for burner launcher. This isn't an ad. I'm not promoting burner launcher. So, but I do think that it's something that is possibly a good alternative if you don't want to face gun charges. So go look at it. But, I have another few things. I don't think I'm going to do my last things, but let's see. What do I have left? I have this. I may not do my last thing. I might not talk about inflation being positive, because I might just mention it real quick that CNN admitted that the inflation numbers are going down and that they're doing well. And that's a slight sign that Trump's economy is doing better. But we're at 2 hours and 11. This last thing I'm going to do. Squigs McJr. saying some of those pepper ball guns are whoop ass. Absolutely. And they're legal everywhere. They're legal, so carry them. Again, if you don't want to kill somebody, fine. You don't have to kill people, but you can defend yourself in other ways. So even if, unfortunately, probably won't be great against a gun, but if you can figure out a way to get that pepper spray in their eye before they can lock on you might be able to get away from someone even holding a gun. Possibly. If they know what they're doing, you're probably fucked. But chances, right? Small chances. You take that risk. So, all right. Let's roll on to our next controversy, because, like I said the other day, this past Wednesday, a few days ago, we had Spencer Klavan on the show, who is the son of Andrew Klavan from the Daily Wire. And little did I know, Spencer Klavan, his dad, was going to start some shit. Swiggle McJr. saying gold all-time high. Yes, gold, that's never good. It's over $3,000. Is that a very all-time high? I don't like it when gold goes up, y'all. Gold going up isn't a great thing. If you have gold, it's great. If you already invested in it, it's great. Seeing that number go up is never a good thing, though, for a society. Just throwing that out there. But if you have gold, you're in good shape. But let me jump to this. Andrew Klavan starting some shit. So let's read what he had to say. This was 2 days ago. The problem with arguing with anti-Semites is that they are genuinely as stupid as bricks. They say Christ is king and America first, then make excuses for Iran's government of radical Islamists dedicated to the U.S. destruction. They think Gentiles have tormented and persecuted Jews in one nation after another, so there must be something wrong with Jews. Really, Sherlock? They're not even smart enough to be feckless clowns. Jews are less than 3% of our population and have made amazing contributions in science, industry, finance, and entertainment. And that's not even mentioning the bagels. Oh, the bagels. And while Jews have their evildoers just like everyone else, the anti-Semitic conspiracy theories about Nagasaki and Bolsheviks and Leo Frank are truly the worst of semi-literate morons. I know they like to flood social media with ugly garbage. It's all they've got. But paying attention to them lowers your IQ more than fluoride and doesn't even help your teeth. Best to leave them to play with themselves. And that's kind of been my sentiment with Andrew Klavan, is that let them flounder. Leave them the fuck alone. They're useless. People like the Nick Fuentes's, people like your fucking the Goipers are all stupid. Anyone that associates with the Goipers, they're useless. Okay, don't associate with them. They're morons. They are leftists. Honestly, Nick Fuentes is a leftist. He is as much he's a anyone that wants to get into segregation, collectivist, racial preference is a collectivist theory. Dude's a leftist, okay? He's not America first. He's fucking leftist first. So he's a lot more in common with the crazy leftist than he does with anybody on the right. So that right there received a little backlash from one Candace Owens, who I will admittedly say I have never been the biggest fan of Candace Owens. So that is a precursor and a caveat for where I potentially will stand on this. So Candace comes in and says, thank you for re-upping this most crucial conversation about Christ is King, almost exactly a year later, and once again during the season of Lent. After a year of thoughtfulness, I want you to know that I will never stop declaring it. So can we be honest here? Candace is a grifter girl. She was a leftist when she needed to be a leftist, and she then decided that it was cool to be the strong black woman of conservatism and say whatever she needs to say, okay? She was full of shit and caught in the middle of the Steven Crowder stuff for no fucking reason. She had no reason to be involved there. She still claimed that Emmanuel Macron's wife is a man. Now, apparently she had a whole fucking series on this. I didn't care about the series. But she doesn't use Christ as King as a declaration of her faith. I truly don't believe she does. I don't know Candace. So maybe she's a great woman, and maybe she really is a super, super, super God-fearing woman. And when she says Christ is King, she's proclaiming it to the world. But I don't see it that way. And I'm a nobody. Okay, I get it. But I don't see it that way. I do not see Candace Owens as an honest player in this game. Squiggle saying Nick is a Fed. Yeah, Nick is something. No one gives a fuck about Nick. So that sparked Jordan Peterson to go on an absolute fucking tirade here. So let's read all of what Jordan had to say. Candace Owens, and then he tagged her, which balls. I appreciate that. A true Pharisees. Pharisaical, I don't know how to say that. Pretender. She vociferously proclaims her devotion to Christ for no other reason that to elevate her perceived status. Her outrage is designed not to shout to the truth from the rooftops, but build bridges or make peace, but to subvert Christianity itself with its new force to her own purposes. She's literally using God's name in vain. There are a few more unforgivable sins. So before I go on to the rest of it, there we go. I read it without showing it. Sorry, y'all. Before I go on to the rest of it, people are criticizing Jordan Peterson a ton because he's not a devout Christian. And I don't know if he's Christian at all. He said he struggled with his Christianity. Now, if you've read Jordan Peterson's books, though, he has read the Bible a ton. He is essentially a theologian in my eyes without believing. He uses it as a piece of research. He knows a fuck ton about the Bible. He knows a fuck ton about the Bible. So while Christians are basically calling him a heretic for using the Bible as a cudgel, I don't think that he's the one that I think he knows the Bible more than most of these Christians. I'll just put it out there that way. Squiggle saying, I love Candace. You can love Candace. Listen, Candace has a massive following. She has balls. I'll give her that. She says shit. I just think she says shit to say shit. I don't think she means half the things she says. But that's just me. So let's continue with Jordan. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites. You are like whitewashed tombs, which appear beautiful on the outside, but inside are full of dead men's bones and every kind of filth. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites. You clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside you are full of greed and self-indulgence. You shut the door of the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. You yourselves do not enter, nor will you let those enter who are trying to. All of this for the Machiavellians who dare to use what is good for their own vile purposes. Finally, if she wasn't the worst of hypocrites, she would forswear the Tate brothers, but they draw attention. And for a pretender, all attention is good attention, even at the cost of, say, a pearl of great price. And he quoted someone about Nick Fuentes over here, but he's been attacked for it. And I will say, I think Dr. Peterson's fallen off a good amount since he's gone on the wire. And a lot of this was also sprung on by, which I didn't pull up and maybe I should, a report that Dr. Peterson was attached to. I'm going to click through Dr. Peterson's thing here because I think he has it. But I'll scroll this and I will talk about it as I scroll through. So it's something that has been, here we go. This is part of the report. The term Christ is King, blah, blah, blah. So they did a report here. I'll pull this up real quick because I don't want to actually pull up the report, but maybe here. Boom. This is the report. The Network Contagion Research Institute on 3/13/25. The name in vain, how online extremists hijacked Christ is King. So this is the report that they put out. It is from Dr. Lee Justin, who's a principal investor from Rutgers. Dr. Peterson, Jordan Peterson was involved, Johnny Moore, Joel Finkelstein, a bunch of people were involved here. Rutgers is the main spot that they did it with. And it's a full report here about how the name has been taken in vain. And they mentioned, Jake Shields. They mentioned Candace. And this is the report that got a lot of shit stirring as well. So let me return back to Dr. Peterson here and everything going on. So this is to say where I want to go with this. I've seen a lot of commentary and I've seen a lot of people who have the whole entire very Christian persona on X because I don't know them. I don't know how devout they are. They seem devout. Trying to take Candace's side here and saying that proclaiming Christ is King is fine. And we could say it. It's a devotion. And it is. It's one of the core tenets. He is the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, right? That's the actual Bible quote. Throwing that out there, y'all. He is the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. But they are being intentionally obtuse and denying that it is also being used as a pejorative to Jews. It is being used as an anti-Semitic slur. 100%. 100. Now, is it typically being used by Groypers and a lot of these fucking pro-Palestine weirdos that have rose up against Israel? Yeah, 100%. They don't really represent the right very well. Candace has used it against Ben Shapiro. All right. It's not like she's been perfect. She claims I've never used it against any of the Jews. Yeah, bullshit. She used it against Ben Shapiro. But to deny, two things can be true at once, right? It can be a proclamation of faith, which it 100% is if you're a devout Christian, without a doubt. Christ is King is a proclamation of faith. I will happily say it as a Christian. Christ is absolutely King. He is going to come and save us for a second time. And if I am judged worthy, I will enter the kingdom of heaven or I won't, right? And that's with all of us. That's what I believe. But to not say that it is also being used as an anti-Semitic slur is very dishonest and is intentionally being obtuse from a lot of people who are terminally on X, who know what's going on. So I guess my 2 cents is, once again on X, it's all fucking stupid, right? It's all stupid. I think that report was dumb because I think that report is intentionally conflating it And it is for the Israel lobby, right? Like, let's be honest. Like, that report is for the Israel lobby to use as a cudgel. And it's fine. And Dr. Peterson has been very openly pro-Israel, hardcore. And it seems like that's the line that you need to toe at the Daily Wire right now. And it is what it is, right? To be in loud support of Israel and to challenge anyone who isn't. Their prerogative, right? So I'm 100% sure that Dr. Peterson signed on this report, defends it, and is going at Candace for that main reason. But there is an ounce of truth to it, which is why they can report it, right? That it is being used in that way. Nick Fuentes says it all the time. Nick Fuentes is not a God-fearing anything. Nick Fuentes does a lot of weird shit, and like Squiggle said, he's a fucking fed. Nick Fuentes is useless. And people like Andrew Tate have said it. Andrew Tate's a devout Muslim. The dude's not a Christian at all. We know why he's saying it. Jake Shields, we know why he's saying it. Jake Shields has become one of the most anti-Israel people on the internet. And there's a ton of them right now that used to be, fairly conservative people that you'd align with mostly, have now become very pro-Palestine and more of anti-Israel because it's like, oh, Israel atrocity, blah, blah, blah. And they've used that before. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is it's just annoying to see so many people that are just only black and white and that they can't break away from their persona to be a real person for like 5 minutes on the internet. To just say, Christ is absolutely king. Christ is 100% king. He will return. But I condemn those who are using my king, my Lord's name in vain to go against Jews, whether they be Israeli Jews or just Jews you're debating with about Israel and about what's going on and things like that. It would make you a better, because you need, like, the things you need to recognize here is another part of Christianity is don't take Lord's name in vain. And for those that do take the Lord's name in vain, we should speak out about that as Christians, right? So while it's okay for you to proclaim your faith, it's also part of your duty to go to those who are taking your Lord's name in vain and using it as a weapon. Because that's exactly what so many of these people are doing when they are saying it online. Okay? Like, there's a good amount. I don't think it's a vast majority. I think it's, it's the Groypers who are assholes. And it's Groyper adjacent people that are aligned with them because they all just hate Israel. It's your people that think Israel and Jews are the cause of everything negative. They will blame them for everything negative in history. And it's, they're the anti-Semites. They're becoming anti-Semitic more and more. And it is okay to say both are true. And I think that's kind of what bothered me the most about this whole situation, is to see people that I think are fairly, intellectual, respectable, and generally responsible with what they say, just going so blunt with it and just jumping on that bandwagon. And it's so easy to just jump on that bandwagon. It's easy 3 words. Christ is king. I put it in there. Now I'm cool. I'm on that cool side. When it's like, no, y'all. Yeah, Christ is king. Proclaim your faith. But you know what you're doing in this situation. And this situation should call for a little more nuance of a Christian to proclaim the faith, defend the Lord's name. Those are the two. Squiggles coming in saying, I don't like people who hide behind religion to commit atrocities. Absolutely not. I'd agree with that. I agree. If you're trying to use your religion to commit atrocities, fine. Now, Squiggles, if you're talking about war that's going on in Israel, it's war, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm fucking done with all this shit. I am done with all of this mamby-pamby shit, okay? It's war, and this is a war that's been going on for a really long time. Atrocities happen in war. I'm not defending either side. I'm not defending the Israelis. I'm not defending the Palestinians. I'm not defending the fucking Jordanians, the Lebanese, the Egyptians, the Iranians, all the people that have been involved in this. Atrocities have happened everywhere. And the unfortunate part is it's all in the name of whatever religion they are following. And religion has caused this for a long time, but it's also war. We're going to get atrocities, y'all. And it's less about religion and more about the cause of war there. You're going to see them. They're going to happen. It's what it is. It's why war sucks. It's why we should end it as quick as we can. But, Squiggle saying religion is not a ski mask. Agreed. Religion shouldn't be used that way. But the unfortunate history of religion it has been. Whether you're talking about the Crusades, whether you're talking about, the current Sharia version of Islamists, go back and listen to my episode with Spencer. If you haven't, we talk about kind of this whole thing with Islam and, Christianity. And Squiggle saying I'm talking about all of them. I agree with you. But that's the unfortunate history of religion in general. And I think that we fall into the issue when, like you said, religion is used as a mask and it's used as a, people hide behind it, but it also has your true believers and your zealots. And when the zealotry is allowed to take shape amongst a mass of people, is when the leaders on top who are using it to hide behind it as a mask get their zealots to commit these atrocities. So it's a whole long podcast I can go on. We're much longer, but we're at 2.5 fucking hours. I told you guys this one might be long, but I mean, that's where I am. And so I just want to see a little more from the people who have generally been pretty good intellectuals and the people that, even some people that I look towards for when I'm scrolling through things to try and get news, to try and get insights on things, are just jumping on this bandwagon. And I'm no theologian. I'm no one that is super. I don't go to church every weekend, so take my shit with a grain of salt, I guess, right? But for me, I feel like it's more important to defend Jesus, defend the Lord's name, defend what the Lord's name is being used for than proclaiming. You can proclaim all you want, but if you're proclaiming without the action, then that proclamation seems more hollow. And I don't know. That's just me. So, I don't feel the need to be compelled to proclaim either. Fuck you if you are trying to compel me to say a damn thing. I don't jump on bandwagons for the most part. I talk about them sometimes. If I feel the need, fine. But there's some people who just feel the need to proclaim all the time. It's all they become. And I get it. You're a follower. That's cool. But I don't know. At some point, there has to be more. So this is just me. Yeah, but that's my whole 2 cents. Two things can work in conjunction. Christ as Lord is true. He is the King. Christ is King. That's true. People are also using it in vain. And we should all, as Christians, take action against those people. More than we're taking actions at Andrew Clavin and Dr. Peterson, okay? We should be truly going at the ones that are using it in an anti-Semitic manner and the ones that are using it as a cudgel. So that's my end of that. And that's what I'm going to end this show on. Everyone, it was a long one, 2.5 hours. I appreciate everyone for hanging out. And I will be back definitely Wednesday for our next show. We have another good one. We'll be talking some more TV stuff and movie stuff. So I'm always pumped for that. I believe David will be there for this one. I might do something again this weekend. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I appreciate everyone who watched wherever you watch, whether it's Facebook, X, Kick, YouTube, Rumble. Pump that Kick actually takes our titles now. I don't have to go change that mid-show. That is nice. And we appreciate all your support wherever you're supporting from. Please like, share, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. And make sure that you go to beautifultrouble.org. I do have it pinned. I'm going to put it in the description probably a little bit later. But I'm going to make sure that, go to beautifultrouble.org. You can actually access Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals in PDF form. Let me see. I think I might just even be able to pull up Saul Alinsky Rules for Radicals PDF. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I think it's right here in archive.com. Yeah, I just, in 2 seconds in a Google search, I pulled up all Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. It's 209 pages. Anyone that wants that one can DM me. I'm not going to throw it up here because I don't want to get it taken down, but DM me and I'll send that to you. But it's real easy to find. Only 209 pages. And I think you can actually, if you're lazy, I think there is the function where you can have it read aloud to you too, if you use that there. So there's all these things that you can do that are pretty dope. So you don't have to actually read it. But yeah, go do that. And make sure you coming out with us next time. Go find us at the socials at the Alex Cuesta Show. I'm tired.